Sending that one forward, finds Carter Lowe through the neutral zone. Lowe waits, takes the shot, kicks aside, rebound, scores! Cole Bodwin! Welcome to the CAA Centre in Brampton as we're getting ready for tonight's broadcast between the Barrie Colts and the Brampton Steelheads. It's an interesting journey to get here with the weather and whatnot, but we made it happen. We're at the CAA Centre. It's the first meeting between these two teams in Brampton. The last meeting was up in Sudbury, or up in Barrie. We've been up in Sudbury so often. I'm just so used to saying that, but these are two Central Division rivals that usually play each other very hard. And, you know, the Barrie Colts, top of the standings, Brampton near the bottom. But with the way things have been of late, you just never know what we're going to get.
No, and obviously with the players away at the World Juniors, Brampton comes in. I mean, it doesn't matter. Again, it's like Sudbury last night. When you get these Central Division rivals, it doesn't matter where you are in the standings. They're always going to be tough matches. And for the Barrie Colts coming off, and a game where they weren't happy with, obviously, Dylan Smoskowitz looking for them to bounce back here today in Brampton after that tough loss to Sudbury last night.
Yeah, and that game just seemed to get away from the Barrie Colts pretty quick. Obviously, the depth is a factor here. No Cole Bodwin, Kayshawn Aitchison, or Emil Hemming. So a lot of the depth players need to step up, but they did get a boost. Calvin Crombie returns to the lineup from injury yesterday. Obviously, it's going to take him a little bit to get going, but that is a sign of encouragement that this team's starting to get healthier.
Yeah, he comes back earlier than expected as well. I was told was going to be probably till after Christmas, but here he is, gets in the lineup. And talking to Dylan Smoskowitz, he said he just came banging on my door and he was determined to get in. He goes, you think as an older guy, okay, maybe sit out this weekend and come back fresh after the playoffs. But Dylan said he was pounding at the door. He wanted in right away, and pretty good performance for a first game back. And for a guy that missed some time, he stepped right in the lineup, and that's a good chance early.
Now, Barrie Colt fans will be excited to know that Alexander Sementsov will be making his OHL debut here tonight. He did the rookie lap during the warm-up, so for Sementsov, I'm sure there's going to be some nervousness for him, but he's on a decent line there playing on the third.
Yeah, and again, you get those young guys that they're making their first appearance, and look, it doesn't matter. You're always gonna have some butterflies, but just in talking to some of the guys, they said they try to kind of help him ease his way into it. For Dylan Smoskowitz said, look, that's what you want to do. You want to play right, and he gets a chance to play at the OHL level and kind of show. His game's growing quite a bit in Newmarket from what we've seen in training camp, and I'm sure he's determined to sit and say, hey, I'm ready, and I'm ready now.
And it makes sense, especially when you've got those key players out of the lineup. You need somebody to step up. You need to get that experience. We even saw Sam Black play last night. He's not in the lineup here tonight, but still, we're seeing these other guys get an opportunity, and this is a chance to showcase their talents if they want to make a key contribution to the second half of the regular season.
Yeah, look, hey, you want to send a message to the coaching staff. This is the way you do it, right? You want opportunity as a young player, and obviously you get Aitchison, Bowden, Hemming away, and those are big points. But you need guys to fill in those minutes, power play, penalty kill, take on bigger roles. And I think for all these players, it's what they relish and what they want. And, first, for young guys, you want the opportunity. They're going to get that here through this next couple of weeks with those guys away.
And this is a Brampton Steelheads team that's been hit and miss of late. Right now on riding a 3-game losing streak. They're at the bottom of the Eastern Conference standings. 3 points ahead of Sudbury in that race for the final playoff spot. So this is going to be a team, you don't know what you're going to get per se, but you would expect, we've got the Christmas break coming up, that they'll want to put their best foot forward here as they want to get some momentum and take advantage of the fact that the Colts are missing some key players.
Yeah, look, Brampton took a real big hit in the offseason with some guys going the NCAA route that weren't expected. Porter Martone, a big one, Ivan Kovic, the goaltender. And, look, again, for these young guys, but let me tell you what this Brampton team is. Their blue line is deep. It's very good. And, you don't see a lot of familiar names, but make no mistakes. You still get the Von Richters and so on, but this is a really good defensive team. And, it's their bread and butter, and it's what's kept them and made them a tough opponent.
And I feel as though a lot of people kind of overlooking Brampton. They see, okay, you've lost your Martones, your Ivan Kovics, but they've got a pretty decent core here that's taking shape. You mentioned the defense. You got the Green brothers back there, but then you also have Arda, who's one of their first-round picks, who's an up-and-coming talent that's this Brampton team could cause some frustrations for many in the Eastern Conference in the second half.
Yeah, look, I mean, these young guys, they've played and they've played a lot, right? And that it's all about development. And when you're playing every night, you're playing big minutes every night, your game advances quickly. And come around the second half, I mean, the growth in some of these guys, just from the first half to the second half, could just be astonishing. And we're going to see that here with this young Brampton team here as they move on. They got some games under their belt. And Dale Howardchuck used to love that word. He goes, get some mileage, right? Get some mileage under your belt. And these guys are getting mileage now. And there's no doubt the skill level is there now. It's just need some time in the league adapting. And they've grown by leaps and bounds already.
And we haven't even talked about Gabriel Sherratt, who seems to always play outstanding against the Barrie Colts. So we'll see what's in store here tonight. But in the meantime, Gene was able to catch up with Dylan Smoskowitz in our Coach's Corner, presented by Mariposa School of Skating.
Dylan, just obviously coming off a bit of a tough game last night, and what do you guys got to do here to kind of turn around coming into Brampton tonight?
We just spoke about it, actually. We just got to flush it. Like last night's done, it's over with. It's a new day. The guys are really dialed in. I could see it in their faces during the video session, asking good questions, really focused on it. Everyone came in with a good attitude, so it's a new opportunity. Like I said last night, the best thing about this league is that you get a fresh start 24 hours later, so not a lot of time to think about last night's game, and excited for the challenge tonight.
And it's a Brampton team that you look at them, a lot of new faces, but still pretty good defensively. You look at that blue line, it's a pretty deep and pretty good blue line.
Definitely the strength of their team. I mean, that and their work ethic. We told our guys this morning in our little meeting that the team that works harder is going to win this game tonight because they're going to give it their best. So something to be aware of for sure, and not a team to sleep on by any means.
And obviously tonight, you want to stay out of the box, and they're a team too that had some the new faces, struggles putting the puck in the net, so you don't want to give them those extra chance for the man advantage.
Yeah, very similar to Sudbury last night. Even though we didn't love our 5-on-5 game, we did think that we did some good stuff and kind of kept them to the outside, but the power play just kind of gives good players momentum, and they get to feel the puck, they get to feel good about themselves. So they do have some good guys over there, even though they're a little bit of a younger team, but you give them that many power play chances, they're going to start to feel themselves as well. So it's a big stress for us tonight to stay physical and teeter on that line, but not go over it.
Dylan, what it's like for yourself as a player making his OHL debut, obviously for Sementsov, an opportunity to come in here, and what do you say to a guy like that, talented, skilled guy, but I'm sure there's some butterflies going through his stomach right now.
We don't say anything today. Today is just have fun, just enjoy the moment, enjoy the game, have some fun out there. But I will say that I thought the staff did a great job this week. Our assistant coach Dennis Martindale really spent a lot of time doing video with them. It was like every day he picked a different topic to go through the video sessions with, and then actually all three of us were out there doing like a triple private session for him after one of the morning skates. He stayed out and he had all three coaches out there working with him. So the kids got a lot of love this week, and we're all excited to watch them, and we're pulling for them tonight.
And one of the strengths of this team you talked about is the ability to bounce back, right? Whether it be you give up a goal and you come off a loss. Lately, this team's been on an impressive stretch, and I'm sure you want to keep that going into the Christmas break here.
Yeah, for sure. It would be a lot more of an enjoyable break to kind of get some points and bank them before we split for a couple days. But again, even more than that, these guys they work so hard. They work so hard throughout the week. They bring their best effort to their workouts and mind to muscle. They bring their best efforts to practice. They're really disappointed when they waste an opportunity to showcase all their hard work when it comes to game time. So I know that they felt like it was a wasted opportunity last night, just from talking to some of the guys today, and I can really feel a more fresh sense of confidence and a fresh sense of urgency for tonight's game.
And Dylan, again, just generating offense. I thought, again, we talked about the start of that second period. You get that quick goal last night, but not only that, but you followed with a pretty good forecheck that was creating some opportunities for you guys. I'm sure you want to do that here again tonight.
Definitely, and if you look at the goal from last night, it's a good line rush. It's a shot on net that actually hits net, and we got guys driving. We bang a dirty one in. I think the goal tonight is to get as many pucks at the net as possible with bodies there. And when we go to the net, we got to go with a purpose. It's not just getting to the net because your coach tells you to get to the net. Let's get to the net, win inside ice, have your stick on the ice, ready to make a move, ready to bang one in. We don't think we're going to need more than 4 or 5 goals to win a game. We're not asking these guys to score 8 or 9. We think our goaltending is really strong. We think our D is really strong. Our penalty kill is really strong. We just need to capitalize on the chances we get.
Thanks for doing this, Dylan.
Awesome.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, sir.
So that was Barrie Colts head coach Dylan Smoskowitz in the Coach's Corner, presented by Mariposa School of Skating. And for this Barrie Colts team, wanting to bounce back quickly after last night's loss 4-1 to the Sudbury Wolves. And you heard it there from Dylan Smoskowitz. They want to have a much better performance here. It was a slow start against Sudbury last night, and you got to get into the win column here and try and take advantage of these games against teams below you in the standings.
Yeah, look, last night, he wasn't happy. Obviously, the first period, he got down 2-0, but again, the talk was in that first intermission, let's get going. And they did. They came out in that second period, got the early goal. And after that, they had about 2, 3, 4 shifts that were really good. And they got the forecheck going, they had some pressure. And you could feel the momentum really switch. But then everything came derailed there with the penalties. And they just, it's hard to build any kind of momentum when you're spending most of the time killing penalties.
So we're about 3 minutes away from puck drop here at the CAA Centre as we get ready for tonight's matchup between the Barrie Colts and the Brampton Steelheads. Just a reminder, we do have the chat. It's live, so you can participate at any point during the broadcast. I already see that we've got Peter on board cheering on the Steelheads, and Richard, who I was wondering when Semensov would be back in the lineup for the Barrie Colts. So if you want to be a participant in the chat, feel free to do so, and we will take a look at any of your comments or questions coming up in the first intermission. But we are getting set for this one. It's a classic Central Division matchup between these two teams. The schedule's fascinating, how this is only the second meeting between these two teams, and last night was already Game 6 against the Sudbury Wolves. So it's, you might be in the same division, but right now you just don't know what you're going to get on any given night.
Yeah, Game 7 is New Year's Eve against, Sudbury. Get rid of that. And, again, these schedules, you never know, like you said, what you're going to get. And, for Brampton and Barrie, they're going to see a lot of each other over the second half there, and all important points. In Brampton, they're fighting to get into the playoffs. And that's what you want as a young team, is an opportunity to get into the playoffs, get a bit of that playoff experience going. And, look, there's not high expectations, but you never know, right? Things happen in the playoffs. And, for Barrie, I think, obviously, they're looking at the top of the Central Division, and North Bay is coming on hard. And, they're chasing. The Niagara Ice Dogs, again, they're kind of like, what are you going to get out of them? There's a ton of offensive talent there, but they just can't seem to keep the puck out of their own net. And, you wonder what's going to happen in the second half of the Ice Dogs.
Yeah, and North Bay, of course, winning again last night against the Guelph Storm. So they're keeping pace with the Barrie Colts, while Niagara falling to the Peterborough Petes as they continue to tumble down the Eastern Conference standings. But we'll see what's in store here tonight as we get ready for the Barrie Colts and the Brampton Steelheads. They're getting ready for the national anthems here at the CAA Centre. So we'll take a quick break. But when we return, we will have puck drop between the Barrie Colts and the Brampton Steelheads. So we are just about ready to go for puck drop here between the Barrie Colts and the Brampton Steelheads. They just wrapped up their pregame ceremony, and while we have a moment, let's take a look at our starting goaltenders, which is presented by Craighurst Crossing by Georgian Communities, new homes, minutes from North Barrie, where inspired living meets small town charm.
The Brampton Steelheads rookie Luke Johnson gets a start. The 6'1", 170-pound Evanston, Illinois native. He's making his 8th appearance of the season. 1-2-2-0 record, 3.28 goals against average, 890 save percentage. Johnson was a second-round pick in the 2025 OHL prior selection. And at the other end, for the Barrie Colts, Arvin Jaslow gets a start. The 6'2", 178-pound Pickering native. He's making his 10th appearance of the season, 5-3, 0-1 record, 2.85 goals against average, and a 914 save percentage.
Our referees tonight, Matt Golby and Jesse Wilmot, and on the lines, Dave Foll and Will Dykman. As we are just about ready to go here, the Brampton Steelheads wearing these Christmas sweaters, kind of similar to what they usually wear, just with silver numbers. But then the Barrie Colts wearing their classic blue uniforms. As we are ready to go, face-off won by the Steelheads as they'll set things up. Toronto can't control that pass. Puck's going to go into the Colts zone, picked up by Evan Passmore. Passmore gets the blue line, head to Acidorian. Crombie trying to kick it ahead. Steelheads will send it back up the ice. Sebeski across over to Sherratt. He's going to send this one around. Puck comes to the near side. Patton continues that one around to the opposite side. Von Richter comes off the point. His pass off the skate. At the point, Steelheads with possession. Green skates this one down low. Goes behind the Barrie net. Nearly loses the handle of it. Comes back to the line. Taken away by Crombie. Crombie's going to send this one forward. Acidorian can't catch up to it. Von Richter looking over his shoulder. Plays it behind the net. Steelheads with possession. Patton's going to pass this one forward. Taken away by Bodie Stewart. He's going to put this back into the Brampton zone. G sends that one forward. That was disrupted. Brad Gardner got a stick on it. Salandra knocks it down. Far side, Von Richter. He's going to get this one out to center. Gabriel Eliasson. He has possession of it. Near side for Emerton. He's going to enter the Brampton zone. Sends this one into the corner. After it in there is Owen Cartwright. He'll send that one to the far side. Colts keep it in. After it is Salandra. Cartwright takes Salandra into the boards. Those two battle in the corner. Coming up with it here is Gene. He's going to pass that one to the near side, and the Steelheads get it down the ice. That one is out of the reach of McGregor Richmond, so it's picked up by Eliasson. Here's Joe Salandra on the wing. Salandra carrying this in, takes the shots, and that one's blocked, ends up in the near corner. Colts trying to pick it up. That's Bodie Stewart. Sends it to the point, but taking that one away is Witkowski. Witkowski will dump this one in as the Steelheads are going to make a line change. Puck comes to the near side. Evan Armstrong chasing after it. That's going to end up in the Brampton zone. Steelheads quickly up the wing. Here's Avery, the former Brantford Bulldog. Avery, though, loses it. It's taken away by Armstrong. Armstrong up to Schneid. William Schneid at the blue line sends it ahead. Jaden Newton carrying it in now for the Colts. Newton trying to go to the nets, and he's knocked off stride. And that puck will be covered up by Johnson.
The Barrie Colts coming tonight. These two teams met earlier in the season back in Barrie, a 5-3 win for the Steelheads. But this Colts team has just been red hot of late. And the incredible thing, 15-3, 1-1 record since October 24th. All three losses come to the hands of the Sudbury Wolves. And again, it doesn't matter where, I keep saying it over and over, these Central Division rivals, it doesn't matter whether you're in a rebuilding program going for it, they're always kind of tough matches.
Well, it almost seems like when you play against your division opponent, you know them so well. And we're seeing that with the Sudbury Wolves this season. That was 6 meetings already. Colts go to the net. That was Vader. Stopped there by Johnson. Puck picked up by the Steelheads. Brampton's going to get this one out. That's Botno. Botno sends it forward into the Barrie zone, collected by Armstrong. Hits the brakes behind his own net, facing pressure. He's knocked down. Vader comes up with it. Teague Vader passing that one ahead. Carter Lowe can't get a stick on it. Puck will escape the zone. Near side, that's David Green. He's going to dump this one in. Jaswald behind his net to play it. Gives that one to Armstrong. Ethan Armstrong off the end boards to Vader as the Colts try and set things up. Loose puck. Gets to the point. Steelheads can't keep it in. David Green gets it again. He's going to dump this one in. Around the boards it goes. McCormick gives chase. Jonah McCormick collects it here for the Colts. He'll carry this one in. He's got Desiderio going to the net. McCormick taken into the boards. Desiderio trying to put that one in front. Getting in the way of that pass attempt was Amato. Amato digging here for Brampton as the battle ensues. We're now past the 3-minute mark of the first period. Still no score. Shots right now favoring Barrie 2-0 as that puck taken away. Amato's going to skate this one in for Brampton from the corner. Passes it in front, but not able to get a stick on it there. It was Arda. A couple of big collisions at the Barrie blue line. Steelheads are just going to dump it in. Emerton sends this one into the zone. Tipped by Desiderio, so no icing. Peter Green there to play it. He'll drop it for the Steelheads defense. That's going to go across, far side. There's the shot. That misses the net. That's going to come to the near side. Zabeski keeps it in. Patton behind the net, tied up by Passmore. After it is Sherratt. He's going to continue this one around. Picked up by Patton. Patton to the blue line. There's a shot from the point, blocked by Asadorian. Steelheads trying to get it to the net, knocked away there by Hanser. Puck goes to the corner. Steelheads trying to move this towards the net. Puck's deflected. Passmore will collect it, taken away by Zabeski. Good work there by Zabeski, the captain of the Steelheads, but now the Colts get it out. Asadorian will send this one into the Brampton zone. He can't get to it in time. Is taken away by Crombie. Puck comes to the near side. Zabeski will find it. Sends that one across. Not able to connect there with Gabriel Sherratt. Won't be enough for icing. Colts take it back quickly the other way. Here's Crombie. Crombie ahead to Stewart. Drops it back. Crombie shot stopped by Johnson. What a great chance there for Calvin Crombie. Steelheads with possession. Witkowski will send this one back. With possession, that's Zach Nyman. Nyman passes this one ahead. Here is Demiglio. Demiglio trying to go to the net. Takes the shot, and Jaswal makes his first save of the night as this one just goes back and forth.
Well, Tanner Sementsov gets his first shift in the OHL there, and then Crombie. What a great chance there to slot that. And we saw that last night to be able to step in. And Torrance Mosman said, last year he was out for some time with the Bulldogs for an injury about a month, and he was able to step in the lineup without practice, didn't miss a beat. He said it was the same thing here. Coming in last night, I missed some time. Expect to take a little bit of time, but some early chances. Another early one here tonight.
Well, Crombie is such a battler. And there's been a couple of times where he's wanted to play despite maybe being banged up. But right now, the Colts, all hands on deck with the big three at the World Junior Hockey Championships. As the Colts move this one through center, it's Gardner to Salandra. Joe Salandra inside the Brampton blue line, skates to the far side. He'll peel it back. Salandra in the high slot takes the shot. That goes off Stewart in front of the net. Teague Vader down low. He's tied up by Green. Stewart's there. He bumps into his man, but that puck sent down the ice. Armstrong from his own blue line sends that one forward, tipped into the zone by Salandra. David Green will send this one back. Picked up there by Von Richter. Green on the near side. Avery can't hold on to that one. Colts send it back into the Brampton zone. Here's Parker Von Richter. Might have the best name in the OHL. Steelheads move it up through the neutral zone. They're going to dump this one in. Jaswal out of his net to play it. Colts send this one around. That's going to go down the length of the ice. Icing indicated. Nope, not enough. Steelheads forced to play it. Comes to the near side, picked up by Avery. Avery sends that one across. Teague Vader will collect it at his own blue line. 6 minutes gone here in the first period. Still looking for our first goal of the hockey game. Shots right now favoring the Colts 3-1. Puck's behind the Brampton net. They're trying to move it up quickly. In his skates, that's Justin Botno. Botno sends it to the near side to Peter Green. Green will drop that one back to Harding. Green has it again. He'll flip this one out to center. Picked up by Amato. He's going to dump this one in. Far side. Hanser will be the first one on it for the Colts. Justin Hanser being chased from behind the net. Hits the brakes, trying to keep it away from Keaton Arda. Hanser goes to McCormick. Jonah McCormick. He'll skate this one out for Barrie. Puts one off the boards. Ends up at the Brampton line. And then McCormick runs over his man. That was G. Colts will send this one deep. G back to pick it up here for Brampton. Leaves it there. Loose puck in front. There's a turnover. Johnson makes the save as both McCormick and Desiderio went after that loose puck. And now we've got Amato mixing it up with McCormick. We'll see if there's any penalties out of this, but what a great chance there for the Barrie Colts.
Well, again, it's that forecheck and the bangers and crashers and McCormick and Desiderio doing some good work up front. They turn the puck over, and a great chance for Desiderio. And Johnson makes the stop. One of these guys, we talk about the development, and another guy, Mike, that has really stood out for me on the back end for the Barrie Colts, obviously Cole Emerton, but Teague Vader, another young defenseman the Colts were really high on. And especially this last month, you just see his game improve leaps and bounds. Just the confidence with the puck, too. You start to see him take a few more chances. They're kind of leading the rush, jumping into the play, and creating chances. And just the game, the jump that he's taken here in the last few weeks in his game, you can really see it every game.
And he's got some great defense partners to look up to. As Kayshawn Aitchison, he's not afraid to go down. He shows that that skill set, and it seems to be rubbing off on some of these younger guys, seeing what it takes to take those chances and what chances to take during the hockey game.
Yeah, and that's it. Like reading the play, right? You got to know when to pick your spots, and it's something that you learn from a guy like Kayshawn Aitchison and Cole Emerton. I think his game has just gone to a completely another level. Now we're starting to see it with Team Vader.
Now, there was a penalty on the play. It's Nicholas Desiderio in the penalty box. So Brampton going on the man advantage. Their power play right now ranked 14th at 19.6%, while the Colts penalty kill 12th at 76.7%. Steelheads win the draw. They're going to send this one around the boards. Sherratt has it in the corner. He'll go back to Zabeski. Far side, Von Richter back to Zabeski. Zabeski's going to ride the blue line, takes the shot. Jaswell to save. Hanser knocks that one behind the net. Patton after it. Gardner takes this one in the boards. Penalty down to a minute 38. Steelheads trying to move it along as that puck being held there by Brad Gardner, taking more time off this power play. Now it squeaks out. Zabeski. Near side, Von Richter doesn't take the shot. He will stop by Jaswell. He sprawled out, and that one stays out. I don't think Jaswell knew where it was as he was doing snow angels in his blue paint.
Well, Von Richter had that one all lined up for the one-timer. Just great patience, kind of waited and moved more to the middle of the ice and hoping to catch Jaswell with a little bit of a fake there. And Colt's kind of fortunate there with a quick whistle. I'm not sure if that was under Jaswell, but a big stop in front there. But then Von Richter, the veteran, I just love it. Everybody kind of expect a one-timer, but Casey takes that one, moves into the middle of the ice, and trying to catch, Jaswell with a bit of mix up in timing.
Well, with the OHL trade deadline coming up January 10th, I know there's going to be a lot of teams probably taking a look at Von Richter and what he brings to the defensive unit.
Christmas time, right? Everybody's getting, their wish list.
The Christmas shopping, yeah. Face-off won by the Colts as they remain shorthanded for a minute 20. Puck goes to the far side. Sherratt takes Emerton into the boards. Colts dig this one free. Jaden Newton's going to skate this one out. Through center, Newton dumps this one in. Schneid's going to chase after it himself. Puck's in the corner. Von Richter comes up with it for Brampton. Von Richter sends it ahead. Witkowski receives the pass. He'll enter the zone here for the Steelheads. Dumps that one to the corner. Patton after it. That's picked up by Emerton. Emerton can't hold on to that one. Zabeski gets it back at the blue line for Brampton. Looks to the net. Takes the shot. That's going to go over the net. Von Richter off the point. He'll collect it. Takes this one back to the line. Across to Sherratt. That one in the air, so he couldn't control it. Steelhead still with it. Von Richter, one-timer, stopped by Jaswell. Sherratt gets to the loose puck, trying to send it to the point, but Schneid gets in the way, and he'll clear it out.
Oh, what a nice stop by Jaswell. He had to be ready. That one-timer by Von Richter for the point. I mean, he let that thing go right away, and Jaswell, a nice stop there, and, as well, it gets the rebound off to the side.
Steelheads still have 18 seconds left on this man advantage. Puck's bouncing behind the Colts net. Back to the blue line. Cartwright takes the shots, and that's blocked in front by Stewart. And that one will go out of play as the Steelheads getting some good looks here, but the Barrie Colts not making it easy for the Steelheads.
No, Stewart, the nice shot block. And again, it's about getting those sticks and those lanes and getting bodies in front. Those little things makes all the difference here. Just 12 seconds remaining in this Steelheads power play.
So face-off will come to the left of Jaswell. Face-off won by the Colts. Another broken stick. That's Hanser's twig who snapped. Colts, though, able to clear it down the ice. So Hanser will get a new stick there from the bench as the Steelheads regroup. Desiderio now out of the penalty box. So back to 5-on-5. Puck comes to near side. Avery can't control that pass. Able to pick it up was Richmond. He's going to send it in. Armstrong loses the handle of it. Avery, he can't hold it either. Richmond ties up his man. Crombie's going to move it ahead. Here's Calvin Crombie through the neutral zone. He'll enter the attacking zone. Crombie hits the brakes. Calvin Crombie still with it. Looks to the corner. Drops it for Asadorian. Asadorian with a shot on net. Smetsov was parked in front, trying to get a stick on it, and that's going to be sent down the ice. So Alexander Semensov parking himself right in front of the Brampton net. Not making it easy for the goaltender to see it as that puck goes deep into the Brampton zone. Steelheads with possession. That's Mate Stankoven. He can't keep it. Puck ends up back behind the Brampton net. Green sends it to the near side. Steelheads will pick it up. Witkowski passing that one forward. Picked up there by Botno. Botno sends it ahead. That's knocked away at center ice. Following it up is Harding. Jared Harding will dump it in. Jaswal stops it behind his own net. Teague Vader is there for the Colts. Puts it in front. Dangerous play. Nearly gave that one up to Justin Botno. Now the Colts trying to get it out, but not able to hold the line was Bodie Stewart. And that's going to be an offside call here against the Barrie Colts.
Well, Emerton headmanning that puck up to Stewart. It got caught in the ice, and he just couldn't bring it up, and ended up being offside. Pretty good pace to this one, but not much room out there. Both these teams getting on top of the puck holder and kind of taking away that time and space. And I think it's what we kind of expected from these two teams. It'd be a low-scoring game. Of course, I say that now and watch it right wide open.
Yeah, you don't want to jinx it already. We're still in the first period. But shots right now, even at 5 apiece. There's a shot from Eggleton, stopped by Jaswal. He juggled it a little bit, but he's able to cover it up and get the whistle.
A young Sementsov there going to the front of the net. Just a smaller guy, but it's one of the games. It's interesting, in camp, when you saw him through their time, look, I mean, there's a big adjustment, right? Kind of learning the way, and I think it was good. I think it was good for kind of send him down to Newmarket, let his game kind of come around, and you can already see a big difference. A much more confident Sementsov out there, even though he's making his OHL debut, he just looks a lot more comfortable out there.
And it's kind of like the London Knights strategy. They do that a lot with their first-round picks. They send them down to Junior B to play with the London Nationals. So their system seems to be working, and maybe the Colts can make it work here with Sementsov as that shot goes wide of the net. Stewart moves it up to Salandra. Salandra finds Gardner. Gardner to Salandra. To the net. Takes the shot. Puts it over the net. Far side, Eliasson comes off the point. Can't keep it. Gardner over to the near side. Salandra. Joe Salandra goes across. No one was there. Colts are making a line change, and the Steelheads will skate it up. Carrying this one in. That's Arda. Arda gets it to the corner. Taken away there by Justin Hanser. Hanser, he'll send this one up the wing. G sends this one back into the Barrie zone. Steelheads are right now completing a line change. Passmore. He's going to flip this one out to center ice. G gets a skate on it. Far side, Hanser. Hanser reaches center, takes a bump there from Green. Puck sent back into the Barrie zone. Jaswal is going to give that one up to Armstrong as we're down to 8.5 minutes remaining now in this first period. Quick moving period between these two as Sementsov gets the line, not out. Steelheads keep it down low behind the net. Sherratt there to pick it up. He overskates it. Sherratt, though, gets the loose puck again. Back to the blue line, but not able to hold it there was Owen Cartwright. Puck rolls deep into the Brampton zone, so the Barrie Colts are going to make a line change. Near side, Zabeski. Doesn't get that one past Emerton. Emerton ahead, finds Lowe. Lowe's going to flip that one across. Cartwright gives chase into the corner. Can't get that one past Calvin Crombie. Crombie from the corner. He's going to go around the Brampton net. Loses the handle of it as that one was taken away by Demiglio. Demiglio trying to get it again. Gets this one out of the zone. At center, Emerton trying to settle it down. Puck goes in the air. Emerton takes it away. Gives that one up to Eliasson. Eliasson, he'll spin back in his own zone. 7:43 left in the first. Carter Lowe receives the pass at center. He's going to dump this one in. That one goes off Harding. Harding gets this one forward. Witkowski tips it forward. Taken away by Emerton. He's going to put it right back into the Brampton zone. Takes a bounce off the end boards. Picked up there by Harding. Witkowski will send this one across. Knocked down by Eliasson. Eliasson passes this one ahead to Schneid. That's dumped into the zone by Carter Lowe. Ends up in the near corner. Harding gets to it. Off the board, Schneid. Had it there for a moment. The puck was bouncing on him. Steelheads get it out. Teague Vader this time. He's going to send it around the boards. Steelheads will pick it up. Coming off the bench there was Sherratt. Or make that Avery. Avery's going to skate back behind his own net. Avery picking up momentum. Passes that one ahead. Getting in the way was Vader, but ends up putting that onto his own bench with 6:55 remaining.
Again, a pretty quick moving first period, and again, just not a lot of space out there when both these teams, you got this final weekend of the Christmas break, both looking to get going into the break on a positive note. Colts, of course, got the London Knights coming in to close out their pre-Christmas schedule.
Yeah, right now the Colts in the middle of a 3-3 to wrap up the first half of the regular season as Edgar just took a hard hit from G. That's going to go deep into the Brampton zone. Steelheads trying to get this one out. Far side of Maddow. Even Edgar gets in the way of that clearing attempt. Loose puck picked up here by McCormick. Backhand stumped by Johnson. Puck goes to the corner. Cartwright comes up with it. He's just going to flip this one down the ice. Armstrong knocks this one ahead. Desiderio trying to carry this one in the zone. That's taken away. Eggleton passes that one across. Off the bench was Stewart. Almost too many men on the ice there for the Barrie Colts. Armstrong sends this one ahead. Taken away by G. He's going to dump this one back into the Barrie zone. There's Jaswal behind the net. Sends that one ahead to Vader. Stewart loses it to Patton. He's going to send that one to the corner as losing his footing there was Zabeski, and the Colts take advantage and clear it out. David Green ahead. Sherrod catches up to it, takes the shot. Jaswal the save. It looked like it may have bounced off someone in front, but Arvin Jaswal able to recover and makes the save.
Jaswal not going to take any chances. And when you watch the, Jonah McCormick and talking to Marty Williamson, just a couple of weeks ago about, this chance here for these young guys to come up and, you start to see it. I mean, that physicality, and Dylan Smoskowitz talks about it all the time. We want to be the team that people don't like playing against. And he said, last night I thought Sudbury liked playing against us. We just weren't that team that's physical up front and much different. I think you see the physicality, McCormick, and, being those physical guys up front that every time, a Brampton player has the puck, you hit them and you let them know. And, that's going to get inside their head a bit there and maybe make them hesitate a bit. But, again, it's the physicality. A big part of this Barrie team is that physicality. When they're at their best and when they're forechecking, they're hitting.
And for this Barrie Colts team, too, still trying to balance that out. Play physical, be that intimidating presence, but also stay out of the penalty box. And that's what burned them last night, because they had that momentum to start the second period. They made it a 2-1 score, but that parade to the penalty box just ended it.
It's like a broken record, right? Like sometimes you hate to bring it up to Dylan, and I always tell him that, sorry, coach, we're going to go back there, but again, I think only Owen Sound has more penalty minutes than the Barrie Colts this season.
Right now, the Barrie Colts have possession. They're going to send this one out to center ice. Knocking that one down in the neutral zone was D'Amiglio. That's going to roll on net. Jaswal makes the save. D'Amiglio gets to his own rebound. Side of the net. Puck rolls as Salandra takes down his man. A big check there on Patton. Puck comes to the near side. Hanser enters the zone. Passes it up to Gardner. Gardner can't hold on to it. Puck ends up behind the Brampton net. Von Richter passing that one ahead. Steelheads move this one out. It's Witkowski. Kieran Witkowski will dump this one in right on net. Jaswal gets a glove on it, decides to play it. Gives that one to Cole Emerton. Emerton up to Asadorian, far side. Sementsov, he's stopped by Peter Green. Stolen there by Stankoven. Stankoven on the wing, trying to get around Eliasson. Eliasson takes him into the boards. Battle behind the net. Avery sends it back to Harding at the blue line. Takes the shot into the crowd, and that goes wide. Sementsov trying to get to that loose puck. Colts skated up. Here's Alex Asadorian. He'll weave towards the middle, drops it for Crombie. Crombie towards the net, takes the shot. Johnson the save. Puck goes behind the net. Peter Green comes up with it. He'll send this one out. Eliasson back to play it at his own blue line across to Emerton. Avery trying to get to that loose puck, but instead it's Calvin Crombie. Crombie skates this one in for the Colts. Over to Asadorian, takes the shot, and he shatters the glass. Oh, Alex Asadorian with the shot. He just shattered the pane of glass right behind Luke Johnson. That's something you don't see too often.
No, you don't. Crombie with a little drop pass there, and Asadorian trying to get that high rising shot. And he missed the net, but he certainly did a number on the glass. And well, looks like we're going to have some time off here a bit.
Yeah, this is going to take a little bit to fix. They're just making sure everyone who's sitting behind the glass there is okay. As the pane of glass stayed in there for the most part, you can see the hole in the middle where that puck made contact.
Well, you wonder. I mean, I know Asadorian, that was a heavy shot, but I didn't think it was too bad. But finds his way, completely shattered the glass, and you get the feeling that if someone just touches it, it's all coming down.
Yeah. The arena staff are going to have fun getting that out. So this is going to be a bit of a delay here at the CAA Centre. Gonna have to talk to Asadorian after the game, get his thoughts on that. Because he can sometimes be a little on the shy side. So
Go over to that bench now. He goes, "Yeah, guys, I did that.
that was me.
That was me." Okay, how do you get that glass out with all it shattering? That's the big thing. Usually you'd be able to slide the paint off, but it almost looks like if you just kind of barely touch it, it's all going to come crumbling down.
Well, there's a hole right in the middle of the pane of glass from where that puck made contact. But it looks like there's a couple of people that are getting the shards of glass off of their jackets and whatnot. So you're going to have to get those people out of the way. At least with the way this arena is set up where the glass broke, it's not a seating section. It's an open, they've got, it's accessible seating back there with the wheelchairs. So they'll be able to get to it, but still, this is going to be a bit of a project.
You know, if Alex could have hung on for another 3 minutes before doing this, with about a minute 30, they didn't go into the first intermission, right? And,
Yeah, because they could have just attacked on the time in the second period.
they could tack on the time in that second period. But
All right, now the referee is having a conversation with James Richmond. I almost wonder if he's bringing that up too. Can we just tack this on to the second period? Because we have 4.5 minutes still to go here in the first. No score between the Colts and the Steelheads. As the arena staff now coming out to scrape it up off the ice.
I think that's what we're going to see, Mike. I think these teams are going to go off for the intermission here.
Yeah, so right now Dylan Smoskowitz having a conversation with the officials. So yeah, the players for the Steelheads, they're going off the ice. And the Colts will make their way as well from the looks of things.
It looked like both coaches agreed to it because you saw Richmond kind of first overall, and then he kind of pointed to Dylan, and Dylan just kind of shook his head, yeah.
Yeah, because this is going to take a bit. I have no idea how they're going to get that glass out.
I just want to watch this and see, yeah, how they get it without it shattering.
Yeah, so they're just announcing it on the PA here at the CAA Centre that they're going to the intermission now. So they're going to add the 4.5 minutes to the start of the second period. I wish I know we've got the webcam, but I don't think the webcam can do us justice. Here, let's try something. We haven't done this yet on the broadcast. Let's do the camera. I'm not sure if people can see that, but that's the situation right now. Mind my shaky hand. But that's the ice on the Brampton Steelheads side, so you can see everybody is going off. I know we're not technically supposed to show the ice when we do these broadcasts, but I feel as though this is a unique circumstance.
There you go. They got the shovels out, and they're just in around cleaning up whatever shards of glass have kind of fallen onto the ice right now. But I think the trick's going to be whoever can get that thing off without it all coming down.
Okay, so since it's the intermission, I guess this is our cue. We should be doing our intermission stuff. But yeah, it's a unique situation. You don't see this all that often. I thought they changed the glass so it wasn't supposed to shatter, but obviously Alex Asadorian has found the sweet spot as it's still scoreless. We're going to have an extended second period, but how did you feel about that first, though, overall for the Barrie Colts?
You know, I don't think it wasn't too bad. They killed off the one penalty there. I think they had some chances early on there. It's good forecheck and not a bad first period. I think much better than last. It's much more competitive. I think you saw them come out and compete. But it's kind of what we expected, right? Where it's more of a bit more tight out there on the ice. Not as much room out there with both these teams, and not a bad first period for Barrie.
Now, just to update you on the glass situation, they used a shovel to knock the glass into a big bin. So they have cleared the glass. Now they got to take all the shards out, but it's a team effort right now over at the far end. So there's going to be a bit of a delay. It's the first intermission right now here at the CAA Centre. And before the game, Josh and I not able to get here in time. So Gene Pereira, he stepped up. He was the MVP, did the interviews with Dylan Smoskowitz for a pregame. And you also got to catch up with Gabriel Eliasson, who, with Kayshawn Aitchison being at the World Juniors, he's had to step up a little bit here of late.
Yeah, and he also, look, this is what he wants, extra ice time. And, he talked about being that shutdown guy. And now he steps into a bigger role with this Barrie team with Kayshawn Aitchison away. And, Elias, we talk about again taking that next step, and he says too. He goes, "I'm 19 now, right? I got to be a leader on this team," and I think you've seen him in that way. But look, this is a guy that he's going to play years in the NHL. I mean, he just brings that physicality and just sound defensive play.
So we'll catch up with that conversation here with Gene Pereira and Gabriel Eliasson, the Ottawa Senators prospect.
Gabriel, just a tough game last night against Sudbury. What do you got to do to kind of bounce you back here today?
Yeah, yesterday was a little slow from the whole team, I guess. So just being dialed in, and we know that they are a hard-working team. We got more talent than them, so we're just gonna work hard, and we can win the game. And
obviously, this team's bread and butter. When you look at his defense, right, one of the top teams in terms of goals against you guys. And again, just stick into that sound defensive game that you guys play.
Yeah, I mean, it's our identity as a team to be hard to play against and defense. So yeah, I think we are a good shutdown team, and I mean we can create some offense too. We have a really good forwards that can do that job. So if we just score some goals and shut down the defenseman, we're good to go.
And you too as well. Last night, again, a lot of times shorthanded, especially in that second period where it looked like you guys had a good jump. You got that early goal in that second period to cut it to 2-1, and you had some good momentum there, but the kind of penalties derailed it.
Yeah, obviously we want to be disciplined and not taking too many penalties because we get momentum to the other team if we take some penalties. So if we just can play hard and stay disciplined, we have a really good chance to win. And we're pretty confident that we're going to win if we do that.
Gabriel, and for yourself personally too, a big chance here with Kayshawn away to step up and play some more important minutes. I'm sure that's something that you look forward to.
Yeah, obviously. Trying to lead a team, and I'm 19 years old now, second year in the league, so trying to play my best and get the young guys going too.
And Gabriel, I mean, you look at bit of a tough start to the season, but you guys have played great hockey here of late, and obviously I'm sure that you look at that division title and something you want to hang on to here.
Yeah, of course. I mean, first couple of games, new guys coming in, young guys, you're not used to play with everybody, and I think we battle so hard every day in the training, practices and everything, so we work really hard and then just stick with each other. We have a great group of guys here, so if we just can keep playing like that, we're pretty confident that we're gonna win the division. Yeah.
And of note, Smensov making his OHL debut tonight. You guys tried to kind of ease him. I'm sure you remember that. Always a few butterflies. You try to help your teammate there and kind of settling him down here tonight.
Yeah, of course. I mean, happy for him that he plays his first game here. It's a big chance for him, and he'll be really really good in the practices here. So I think it's a good night for him.
Perfect. Hey, thanks for doing this, Gabriel.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
So it is the first intermission here at the CAA Centre between the Barrie Colts and the Brampton Steelheads. Right now dealing with a bit of a delay as they're trying to fix the glass behind the one end of the rink, courtesy of Alex Asadorian. Now we do have the chat open, so since we've got some time to fill, if you want to join in on the conversation, feel free to put your comments there. We've got the OHL trade deadline around the corner, so as Colts fans, what would you like to add to this roster, or what kind of changes would you like to make? So put those comments down below as we get this conversation going. But in the meantime, it is a busy night around the Ontario Hockey League as tomorrow's the last day before the Christmas break. So down in Erie, the Otters right now up 3-0 on the Sarnia Sting. And there was that big trade between Kitchener and Erie, and Evan Hedrick has his first goal as a Erie Otter.
Well, again, you add a young forward and he gets into a new situation. He had, big time playing time there. And, again, for a young guy who's a first round pick, there's a lot of skill there and talent. It was a good trade for both teams.
Now over in Kitchener, they're taking on the Owen Sound Attack. Right now, the Rangers up by a score of 1-0. That's late in the first period. The Oshawa Generals right now up 2-1 on the London Knights. London, of course, making the trip to Barrie tomorrow. So we'll see what's in store there. London, they've kind of been struggling of late.
Yeah, you wonder, they got off to a good start and, they got off to actually the first few games, everybody was wondering what was going on. And then they really turned it on here. A little bit of a turn back here for them. But, again, they're a much younger team, much younger London team than we've seen the last couple of years.
Now, the Night Rice Dogs, another team that's been struggling. They're right now tied at 1 with the Flint Firebirds, who've been one of the hottest teams in the Ontario Hockey League. Up in the nation's capital, the Ottawa 67s up 2-0 on the Peterborough Petes. Brantford, they're in Kingston. Right now, the Bulldogs Frontenacs, they are tied at 1 apiece. And up in Sudbury, no score to report right now between the Wolves and the Guelph Storms. We do have the chat open right now, so if you want to join the conversation, we have some time to fill as they have yet to bring out the Zamboni to do the ice cleaning here between periods. So looking at the chat, we see Richard saying they're getting good with the penalty kills because they're getting a bit too much practice at it.
Yeah, I think more practice than Dylan Smoskowitz will like to see. No doubt. I mean, goaltending's a big part of it, right? I mean, it's the always old cliche that, your best penalty killer has got to be your goaltender. And, they got big minutes, but, it's been a big improvement for them, but there's no doubt. But, you don't want the opportunity. 7 is just too much. And talking to Alex Asadorian after the game last night, he said, look, you keep it 3 and below, you're going to be all right in terms of the numbers of power plays. 7, just too much.
Now, Tammy saying, remind everyone to bring canned food or food goods to the game tomorrow. So a great reminder there, Tammy, as they are doing the fundraiser for the Barrie Food Bank. And especially with this time of year, every little bit helps. And it's great that the Barrie Colts doing that for the community.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's a lot of families struggling out there, and it's just good to see reach out if you can and help out. And, that's the great thing about, being part of the community. And, Barrie's had a great community, being very supportive, and for the Colts, family here to kind of reach out. And it's a great reminder. So if you can, at this time of year, ability to kind of help out those in need.
So that's tomorrow night's game back at the Sadlin Arena when the Barrie Colts take on the London Knights. That game is at 7:30. We'll have the call on Rogers TV, but if you are going to the game in person, remember to bring a canned food item to support the Barrie Food Bank. And now Coffee Household says there's an Autoglass sponsorship here for Asadorian. I think Coffee House might be onto something.
Yeah, great idea.
Exactly.
Great idea. So if you got an auto shop, up in Barrie, Ontario, we'd love to hear from you if you want to sponsor. Always be welcome to help us out here. And, after that, shall we say, shattering experience by Alex Asadorian.
You were holding on to that one.
Alex was a pain there.
Oh, no.
Somebody stop me. Please.
We've got time to fill, so.
Time to fill, but no doubt that, look, I mean, these things happen, these strange things happen, and it's always remarkable how quick they're able to kind of clean things up. You look back and you think, oh man, this is going to take ages, right? But you get a good crew out there. Next, it's all gone and it's changed. But it doesn't happen often, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I can think of only a handful of times where doing a game where a pane of glass shatters. There's one time when I was covering the Kitchener Rangers. I think it was Krasinski whose skate blade went through the glass.
Ooh.
So that shattered the whole pane, and yeah, that was a mess. So we don't see this that often, but Coffee House, you're on to a great idea there on autoglass sponsorship. So if you will have a business and you want to sponsor, that's a great segue because we do have sponsorship options available. So you can reach out to Gene and myself, and you can be a part of the broadcast. We can't do this broadcast without our great sponsors as we continue on the road. This is already the halfway point of the regular season as of tomorrow.
It's just flying by, isn't it? You look back and you're thinking, okay, here's the start of the year. Next, here we are going into the Christmas break, and it's always fun because after you got the trade deadline around the corner, and things are heating up standing wise. The teams fight, and it's always an exciting time of year.
Yeah, because I think it's tomorrow against the London Knights is officially game 34 of the season, so that's halfway point, and we're going to have an exciting finish to this regular season. Now, Richard saying, not surprising, but Kayshawn and Cole were confirmed for Team Canada's roster today, and they look good. I was able to watch some of that game when they were down in Kitchener. Kayshawn Aitchison looking so comfortable on that blue line. Looks pretty good in Canadian red.
Everybody comes out with their list, right? And I saw a lot of lists kind of leaving Bowden and Aitchison off the team, and you kind of get a chuckle a bit. But look, I mean, we all see the players that we see, and obviously, you get to see more of a player, you're going to like them. But for Bowden, I don't think there's any doubt these two are going to make the team. Just the ability for the bring. I mean, Cole Bowden, just can fit into any role that you need him to. He's going to play any role that you need him to. He's taken a gigantic step offensively, one of the top scorers in the Ontario Hockey League up this year. And again, in a short tournament like that, where you get bumps and bruises, guys, he can move up and down that lineup and slot into anywhere you need. For Kayshawn Aitchison, his first experience, but again, this is the same guy that can kind of fit into anything you need. He can be that shutdown guy. He's that physical guy. He's an offensive guy that can help you out in the power play. And I think for Kayshawn Aitchison, talking to him before the tournament going into camp, he said, look, that's the way I can help this Canadian team is they know that whatever role they need me to be, I can provide that.
And that's where, for the Barrie Colts, they're in a very interesting position with the trade deadline looming because last night was an example of a team taking advantage of the fact that the Barrie Colts missing their top dogs on the lineup. And for the Colts, a better start here tonight against the Brampton Steelheads, but still, you're missing that extra edge up front with what Cole Bowden does, carrying that puck with ease to the neutral zone. Kayshawn Aitchison, a threat at both ends of the ice. So if you're Marty Williamson with that trade deadline looming, do you look to add, or is this going to be a season where you sell? I know there's been a lot of people wondering that. Which direction do the Barrie Colts go?
Yeah, look, I mean, there's no doubt that, Hemming and Bowden and Aitchison, that's a big part of your offense right there. And it's a dynamic. All three of those guys are elite players, and you take them out of a lineup, it's not going to be the same. And, again, this really just shows the depth. And it's not that Barrie, they got, it's not that they don't have talent, but they got a lot of younger talent. And, sometimes you need to add those depth guys, but I think going into the trade deadline, it's going to be interesting, right? Who wants to step up and compete with Brantford in the Eastern Conference? I think for Barrie, there's an opportunity here that if they can add another big scorer that can fit into your top six, and then maybe another depth type forward that can score 20 plus, that type of thing. And talking to Marty Williamson, and he's loved the growth in Cole Emerton, but maybe adding another veteran blue line there that gives you depth. And come playoffs, Mike, it's really you're playing every other night pretty much, right? And that's where you really got to rely. Teams that go far in the playoffs, they have at least three pretty good lines, right? And because look, playing every other night when you lean on your top guys, it can be hard on them, and they can wear down, and they need a chance to regroup. So you need those three lines at least. And, that's where depth really makes the difference.
And when Marty Williamson made that trade to acquire Calvin Crombie from the Brantford Bulldogs, you almost get the sense that he made that trade with the playoffs in mind because Crombie, we've seen it, like he's back in the lineup ahead of schedule. He wants to play. He's a grinder. He's a battler. He's shown this season that he can put pucks into the net. So you look at guys like that, and it's like, yeah, this is a team that is built for the playoffs when everybody is in the lineup. And if you can add a couple of pieces, this team could challenge for, maybe top spot in the Central and potentially a challenge there in the Eastern Conference Final.
No, for Calvin too, and you look at the numbers and you think, what kind of offensive numbers, But the thing is, you got to remember, he's in a Brantford team that you don't get the same opportunities, right? Especially this season, obviously, there just wasn't a spot for him there. And you come to a team like Barrie where you get opportunity, you fit into the top six. And I love his game. He's a guy that doesn't shy away physically in the corners in front of the net. And you can see that offensive skill that's getting a little bit more chance to flourish here. And, last year he had about a month off, and again here today. It's great to see him back in the lineup early, and he's a guy that's going to make an impact, and for a younger team, again, that experience makes a difference.
So right now it is officially the end of the first intermission, but they're still dealing with the glass behind the net. They have the new pane in place, but they're trying to take the wrapper that protects the glass. So it might be still a few minutes before we get this going, but they do have some people there trying to take that extra sheet off.
It's like me at Christmas time trying to take the wrapping off the present.
Or the tape.
I'm so excited. You're trying to wrap and unwrap and get to it, and then and you're just like, everybody's kind of looking at me like, "What are you doing?" Somehow, me as a kid, but they're getting to it, and again, I mean, at this time of year, I think the players look forward to a break, right? Getting back to your families and kind of recharge, and forget that it's a long season. Practices every day and so on. A chance to kind of recharge the batteries and get back.
And it was also nice to see Dallin Wakely back in Barrie last night. He's on his Christmas break, so it's great to see him back in Barrie and catching up with some of his teammates from last season.
Yeah, and he was telling me that the Edmonton Oilers are keeping tabs on him as well. And which is nice. And they kind of relayed that they're happy with his play. He's loved it, and he told me, tell all the Barrie fans hi. I missed them, and I know that he had his career in North Bay, and it's a big part of the community there. But you forget with Dallin, that's just all the things he did in the community when he came to Barrie, and just really one of the guys that you're not going to forget, because he's just that type of person that he reaches out. He does more than just play hockey in any community that he goes into.
So the Barrie Colts right now coming back on the ice as we're still waiting for that final pieces of whatever you want to call it, the tape that covers the glass to be peeled off. It's on the spectator side, but now the two teams are coming on the ice. So we were going to get ready for the conclusion of the first period. So they'll play 4.5 minutes here. And then once that time's up, they'll stop the clock, and then we'll start the second period. So I think this is probably a better solution than just waiting for that pane of glass to get fixed.
Yeah, I just 4:30 remaining, and I think Josh, I think I'd look into him, maybe shattering that glass, looking to get more time on the air here, but.
Yes, we've also brought Josh McCann with us. He is on the road, so we are ready to go here for the the rest of the first. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but we'll get this first period back underway. Colts and Steelheads, no score to report. Shots though favoring the Brampton Steelheads, 8-7. As we'll see how this wraps up. I think we should be able to get the game back underway as the players doing their skating, because the glass shattered in the Brampton zone. They're going to have the face-off here coming to the left of Luke Johnson. So we got some fresh legs, some fresh ice, and we are ready to go. Face-off to the left of Johnson. Gardner is going to take the draw here for the Barrie Colts. As he'll take this draw against Patton. Getting some last-second instructions from the linesman. Gardner actually going to be tossed out. So in steps Joe Salandra. Face-off won by the Colts, but it's taken away by Zabeski. He's going to go for a skate, sends it into the Barrie zone. That goes into the far corner. Passmore, first one on it. Taken there by Sherratt. Back to Patton. Patton can't hold on to it. Taken away by Justin Hanser. Hanser stops behind his own net, trying to settle it down. He's facing pressure there from Sherratt. Sherratt takes this one away. Zabeski has it in the corner. Sends this one back to the point. Vaughn Richter takes his time, now takes the shot. That goes off a leg. Ends up behind the net. Passmore takes it away here for the Barrie Colts. Ahead for Salandra. Joe Salandra, he's tied up by Zabeski. Sherratt can't hold on to that one. Passmore goes behind his own net. Patton knocks that one away. Colts recover. Salandra's going to flip this one out and down the ice. That ends up back at the Brampton blue line. Vaughn Richter sends that one ahead to Zabeski. He can't hold it. Salandra puts that into the crest of Zabeski. Picked up here by Alex Asadorian. He's going to go back to Eliasson. 3.5 minutes left in this first period. Sementsov gets a stick on it. Got too much, and that's going to go over the glass and out of play.
Well, Alex Asadorian, great to see his commitment to Yale University. That's a pretty good school to go on to, and he's pretty excited about getting the opportunity to continue his hockey career, and education a big part of that as well. And
Well, it's such a great option for the junior hockey players to be able to go off to the NCAA. I know it's caused a lot of questions and concerns among some in the junior hockey circles, but it's a great opportunity for guys like Alex Asadorian as that puck's going to go back into the Brampton zone. Cartwright will pass this one forward. Loose puck picked up by Crombie. Crombie drops it there for Asadorian. Asadorian trying to settle it down. The puck was bouncing. That'll go to the corner. Asadorian around the net, sends it back to the blue line to Eliasson. Near side, Emerson. Emerson takes the shot. Johnson the save. And he's going to pounce on that one as he slides out of his crease. We got Crombie and G tied up in the corner. But nothing more will come of that as the linesman will step in.
young Alexander Sementsov, and I love it. Here in his first game going to the net, trying to create some traffic in front. Talking to a scout about him, I said, what's he going to bring? Obviously, as he moves here through his career, and he told me that at the age of 18 or 19, this guy's going to be really good OHLer, and you can see the skill set. And Colts fans will remember Vladimir Nikiforov. Again, a guy on the smaller side, but just so creative offensively and dynamic, and I think that's a good maybe expectation with Sementsov, the talents that he has to develop into.
Colts picking up inside the blue line. That's Teague Vander. He's going to send this one around the boards. Von Richter gets a stick on it, rolls to the nets, and Johnson able to pounce on that as we're now down to 2:33 remaining in what's left of this first period before we switch to the second.
And then this, Brampton defense, you hear it around the league from coaches. I mean, they talk about it. Again, a lot of new faces. This team lost a lot. Okay, it's going to be a rebuilding year, but they're a tough team to play against because that blue line it just does such a good job of keeping things out of their own zone and the ability to get the puck out of the zone and keep things clean in front of the goaltenders.
It's a James Richmond style team built from the back end out. And definitely have the foundation in place going forward for this organization as Newton's going to dump this one in. Around the boards it goes. Lowe chasing after it. Green sends this one forward. Schneid gets in the way. Patton plays that one to the corner. Gardner trying to dig that one free. Schneid, he's knocked down, sends it back to the point to Hanser. Hanser in a battle there with Patton. Up to Schneid. Schneid taken into the boards by Von Richter. He's going to put that one to the corner, pick it up himself. Von Richter sends that one around to Sherratt. Sherratt's pass deflected. That goes in the air, and that's going to make contact with the netting.
Again, I mean, this Barrie team, they're good when they're physical up front. And the ability to kind of get on that blue line, create turnovers, and sometimes it's not pretty. You get the dirty ones, but, the coaches will gladly take those.
Well, they don't ask how.
That's right.
They just ask how many. So if you can get those dirty goals too. And with the way this game's going, it may come down to that because we're still looking for our first goal of the hockey game. Under 2 minutes left in the first period. As the puck comes to the point, Passmore keeps it in. That goes wide of the net. Hands are chasing after it. Edgar behind the net. He's tied up by Peter Green. Hanser on the boards, back in. Johnson got the paddle on it. Puck comes back to the point. Steelheads to the line and out. That's Stankoven who gets it out. Desiderio can't hold on to it. Puck goes deep into the Barrie zone. Hanser's there to collect it now for the Colts. He's going to skate this one out himself. Passes it up to Edgar. Edgar continues it down the ice. No icing. Puck goes behind the net. Harding there to play it. Picking it up is Butt. No, he sends it around his own net. Near side, that's Avery. Avery knocked down there by McCormick. Gardner delivers a check as well, and that puck's going to come down the ice. And that's going to be an icing call against the Steelheads. They don't agree. They're upset as they feel Gabriel Eliasson probably could have played it for the red line.
important draw in the zone, and that's another area that Dylan Smoskus wasn't happy about. I think Sudbury won 30 of 46 draws last night. And it's possession of the puck, right? The one goal that I think that third goal by Sudbury last night made it 3-1. The goal by Villeneuve, you win the draw, right? You gain possession, and it is oh so important, those face-off draws. The big one here in the Brampton zone.
Brad Gardner's getting ready to take the face-off up against Matej Stankoven. Face-off won by the Colts. Here's Gabriel Eliasson at the point. Eliasson's going to send it around the boards. Bodie Stewart after in the corner. The official was in the way. Still able to get to it. Loose puck picked up by Salandra. Behind the net, that's Brad Gardner. Gardner comes out from the corner. We're in the final minute of the first period. Gardner keeping it down low. Salandra collects it now for the Colts. That's knocked off his stick by Peter Green. Steelheads to the line, kept in by Eliasson. Avery will take it away and skates it up, dumps it down the ice. 44 seconds left here in this first period. Long pass, Emerton, deflected by Stewart to no icing. That's going to go around the boards. Far side, Cartwright. He takes the hit. Gardner has it in his skates. He'll send this one behind the net. Picked up here by G. He'll flip this one out down the ice. Loose puck picked up by Vader. Over to Crombie. Crombie trying to drop it back. That's taken away by the Steelheads. Here's a chance. Fires, stopped by Jaswal as Julian D'Amiglio had a great opportunity down the middle.
D'Amiglio comes right in. Steele is able to get that puck to the front of the net, but again, Jaswell coming right up to the top of that crease, that blue paint, in position and able to take that one in. Our Jaswell, you watch the development. The Colts, we'll talk about him similar to that Arebic situation last year where he's able to play himself into more ice time, and they want to get Jaswell, and it's kind of tough sometimes the way Arebic is playing so well, but Jaswell, that first game back after that being off for 3 weeks, but much better of late. He's been really good in the last couple of starts.
Yeah, he looks so comfortable in net. He's already faced 9 shots in this hockey game. As that puck's knocked out to center ice, Von Richter collects it. 3 seconds left in the period. And that will do it for the opening 20 minutes. It took us a little longer to finish the first period because of the shattered glass from Alex Asadorian, but it's no score after the first period.
Earth-shattering experience. Sorry.
He's back at it.
He's back. Somebody stop.
Well, we've got Josh McCann here, so I think he wants to replace you.
And we'll just do that.
So after the first period of play, it is no score between Brampton and Barrie. And just a reminder, it's a quick turnaround here because of the shattered pane of glass. So they extended the intermission and played the 4.5. And now we're ready to go for the second period as Josh McCann moves in here, getting rearranged here in this very spacious press box here at the CAA Centre.
Can we get one of these back home?
You want a spacious press box?
Yeah, well, I have to go down to a corner and
That's true.
Can we make room for me upstairs?
Well, they've got their host here. I think he goes between the box and the corner for interviews. So you'd still have to
here right now.
No, that's true. But Josh McCann, everybody.
I'm here.
So we are ready to go for the second period of play. The quick turnaround there. So the teams will switch sides. Jaswal to our broadcast right. Johnson to our broadcast left. And the second period now underway. Colts send this one ahead. Sementsov chips this one into the Brampton zone. Zabeski inside his own blue line. He's going to pick up some momentum. Zabeski up to Sherratt. Sherratt sends this one into the Barrie zone. Zabeski after it in the corner. Hands are trying to knock that one away. Patton sends it back to the point. Kept in. There's the shot. Jaswal the save, and he's able to pounce on that one as he had Gabriel Sherratt parked in front.
Gabriel Sherratt, one of the Steelheads players that I'm sure they were looking to rely on coming into the season. They didn't really know who they could rely on because there was a lot of new faces, but Sherratt, one of the old faces back from last year, and he's lived up to expectations. 14 goals, 10 assists coming into today's game.
Yeah, that's tied for the team lead in points with Jakob Fibiger, and of course Fibiger off at the World Juniors. But I know a lot of people have been overlooking this Brampton Steelheads team, but they still have some key pieces that can burn you if you don't, keep an eye on them. Face-off won by the Colts. Here's Bodie Stewart. Stewart will get this one to the line and out. Von Richter playing this one back into the Barrie zone. Passmore chasing after it. Takes a weird bounce in the corner. Steelheads will recover, send it back to the blue line. That's quickly sent ahead. Here's David Green. Passmore's going to get a penalty here. That's going to be a trip as he took down Julian DeMiglio at the side of the net. So the Brampton Steelheads are going to get their second power play of the hockey game.
For Passmore there, just getting a bit too physical out front of the net. Their puck wasn't anywhere near them, and he takes down DeMiglio. He's a pretty easy call for the official there. And Colts again giving up another penalty here.
Well, that was the story last night against the Sudbury Wolves, as it was a parade to the penalty box after they had some momentum. But right now, no score. Faceoff will come to the right of Arvin Jaswal. Brampton already 0 for 1 on the power play here tonight. Gardner taking the draw here for the Barrie Colts. It's won by Patton. Back to the point. Von Richter sets up Zabeski. Zabeski, though, loses it to Carter Lowe. He can't get it out of the zone, though. Battle ensues along the far boards. Patton trying to dig it free. Zabeski's there as well. Sends it in front. Eliasson was in the way. Puck's still being battled for. Puck comes to the near point. Von Richter. His pass blocked by Gardner, and he'll get this one down the ice. Parker Von Richter back to play it here for Brampton. Colts change the penalty kill unit. Still a minute and a half to go on this man advantage as Gabe Sherratt will collect it. Sherratt sends that one to the corner. He's going to chase after it himself. Sends that one around the boards. Patton's going to chase after it here for Brampton. Drops it behind the net. Witkowski couldn't get a stick on it. Sherratt gets it again here for Brampton. He's tied up there by Schneid. They continue to battle in the corner. Newton knocked it free, but kept in. There's a shot stopped by Jaswal. Quick chance by Zabeski, but the Colts able to quickly get it out. Johnson will leave it there for Von Richter. Both teams make changes. 55 seconds left in the penalty to Evan Passmore. Steelhead sent it in. Here's Avery chasing after it. Lost his stride. Vader picks it up, sends it up ahead. Taken away by DeMiglio. DeMiglio to the corner. Picked up here by Avery. Avery comes off the boards. His pass far side shot. You're trying to get to the back door was DeMiglio, but not able to connect. Here's David Green at the point. His shot blocked in front. Jaswal has the pad down. Puck still loose. Patton sends to the net behind the goal now. In front, trying to bank it in. At the point, there's a shot blocked by Stewart. Steelheads getting all the pressure right now. It's Zabeski along the far boards. He'll come back to the point. 18 seconds left in the power play. David Green sends this one down low to Patton. In front, stopped there by Jaswal. Got the paddle down. And the Colts, they're going to hammer this one down the ice. As the Steelheads getting chances, but Arvin Jaswal standing tall. Asadorian putting on the pressure as the power play comes to an end. Puck's deep in the Brampton zone. It's David Green with possession. He's going to give this one up to Cartwright. Cartwright up the wing. And there's a big hit by Eliasson. He ran over Eggleton. No penalty on the play. It continues. Emerton up the wing. Sementsov chips this one into the Brampton zone. Cartwright looking over his shoulder. Crombie giving chase. Loose puck. Green sends this one forward, bouncing at the line. Botno skates this one up for the Steelheads. Knocked off his stick by Eliasson. That's going to be sent back into the Brampton zone. Green again with it. Over to Cartwright. Botno on the wing. Goes back to Green. Green up the ice. Getting a stick on it there with Stankoven. Stankoven forced to the outside by Eliasson. Emerson comes around the net. Sementsov dropping back to Asadorian. Here's Crombie through the neutral zone, and that's going to be offside against the Barrie Colts, as that one just knocked off the stick of Alex Asadorian.
Well, that shift from Gabriel Eliasson there is exactly what the Barrie Colts need from him. That's Gabriel Eliasson at his best. A big booming hit, no penalty on it. It was a clean play. And then Brampton coming right back into the zone. He makes a nice play on the puck, forced the turnover as well.
Well, that's Gabriel Eliasson's game. He wants to be that physical dominating presence and took that hit on Eggleton, and more importantly, didn't take a penalty on it. There's a shot from the point, and Johnson gets the glove up in time as Jonah McCormick was going to the net. And now McCormick mixing it up a bit there with Peter Green. I don't think anything else will come of that, as cooler heads will prevail.
The last couple of games, Jonah McCormick's been a mainstay on this fourth line here. And he's had some different line mates. He had Govro and Newton for a bit. Now Desiderio and Edgar here tonight. And Sam Black last night as well. But the fourth line, it feels like these last few games has been really successful. Going back to that game against Ottawa, they're creating some chances and playing the body a ton as well.
Yeah, Jonah McCormick, he's got that size. He's kind of built like a Cole Beaudoin. Just give it time, and maybe the points will come just like Cole. As that shot comes from the point, Edgar, he's taken into the boards by Zabeski. McCormick keeps it down low to Desiderio. Desiderio comes around the Brampton net. He's taken into the corner by Herding. Desiderio, though, stays with it. Nicholas Desiderio, he's taken down, and that's going to be a penalty against Brampton. It's going to be Jared Herding going off for the hook.
Again, the fourth line getting the job done there, working the puck around, and Desiderio drawing a call there against Harding. For that fourth line, I mean, earlier in the season, there were some moments when the Barrie Colts were struggling where it felt like when you got that depth guys out there in that fourth line, they were just getting hemmed into their own zone, couldn't get it out at all. But there, a really great shift from them again. Now, as the power play comes out, I noticed Alexander Sementsov out there on the ice along with some of the big guys.
Yeah, getting some power play time, and this Barrie Colts power play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. The Colts power play right now ranked 5th in the OHL at 24.3%, while the penalty kill for Brampton right now 18th. Emerton to Sementsov, back to Emerton. Slandra doesn't take the shot, waits for it. He'll go back to Emerton at the line. Puck bounced on him. Slandra, timer, stopped by Johnson. And the Steelheads will get this one out to center ice. Picked up here by Emerton. Power play down to a minute and a half. Gardner has that one knocked off his stick by Witkowski. Emerton has to come back to play it. Cole Emerton facing some pressure there. Quickly ahead. Finds Salandra. Sementsov through the neutral zone. He'll carry it in. Goes to Lowe. Lowe sends this one across. That pass doesn't connect. Gardner has to come back for it at the blue line. Brad Gardner to Sementsov. Back to Emerton. Near side Salandra. Looks across, deflected. That's going to go wide of the net. Lowe sends this one around. Emerton trying to keep it at the point. He will. Up to Sementsov. Gardner across. And Salandra hits the side of the net. Great passing play there. Sementsov keeps it in. There's a toe drag. Shot stopped by Johnson. Puck still loose. Comes back to the point. Emerton to Salandra. That puck bouncing over his stick. Puck's in the corner. Carter Lowe trying to dig it free. Sends it around to Sementsov on the far boards. Back to Emerton at the point. Takes the shot, stop, rebound, and it goes to the side of the net. I don't even know if Johnson made that save with that point shot from Emerton. Emerton again, his shot high. Blocker save there by Johnson, and that's going to go out of play. But some great looks here on the power play for the Barrie Colts.
Well, really good look there from Brad Gardner. Was set up by Alexander Sementsov. Sementsov was able to keep the puck in the zone and tipped it to Gardner, who had an open lane to the net. Johnson made a nice save. Saw there just on the screen. Gardner past Emerton and through a screen gets it to the net. But Johnson again using the blocker to fight that one off.
Yeah, great work by Cole Emerton, the quarterback on the power play there. As Vader sends it over to Armstrong. 25 seconds left in the man advantage. Vader's shot goes wide of the net. Puck comes to the near side to Armstrong. Down to Crombie, back to Vader, doesn't take the shot. Armstrong will, and that's blocked. Zabeski got in the way, and the Steelheads get it out. 2-on-1 short-handed here, and that's poked away. Good work there by Vader. Crombie skates this one in for the Colts. Up the middle, shot stop, rebound. Newton fires, stopped again by Johnson. As the Brampton goaltender right now facing a lot of rubber.
Colts have been firing on all cylinders on this power play. You mentioned Cole Emerton is kind of the quarterback of that first unit right now. And, you know, the Barrie Colts, they're obviously focused on this season contending, but there's also Dylan Smoskowitz, part of his mind, probably looking at next season and thinking, Kayshawn Aitchison's probably gone next year. We're going to need someone to run the power play from the back end. And if Cole Emerton keeps doing what he's doing, it's very likely he could be that guy.
So face-off coming to the right of Johnson. Acidorian's going to take the face-off here for the Barrie Colts. 2 seconds, and then Jared Harding will come out of the penalty box. Scramble draw picked up here by the Steelheads, so the power play has expired. So Barrie 0 for 1 on the man advantage. Puck goes behind the Brampton net. Steelheads able to collect it. Gene sends it forward. Patton tips that one into the Barrie zone. Hanser gives chase. Here's Sherratt. Gabe Sherratt trying to beat Hanser to the puck. Battle in the near corner. Puck's knocked free. Picked up here by Acidorian. He'll send that one ahead. Doesn't connect with Crombie. G will get it back at his own blue line. G falling. Still able to get this one out. Through the neutral zone is Zabeski. Zabeski weaving his way into the attacking zone. Takes the shot. That's blocked by Passmore. Crombie's pass is blocked by Sherratt. Ends up in the corner. Zabeski with it. Puts it behind the Barrie net. Sherratt with possession. Puck's bouncing in the corner. He'll send that one around. Far side. Crombie after it. Calvin Crombie, he's tied up along the boards by Zabeski. Stankoven trying to move it. Puck's in the corner. Sherratt, he loses the handle of it. Hanser behind the net. Taken there by the Steelheads. Passmore will move it up to Semensov. Here's Alex Asadorian through center. Across, knocked down by Avery. Good play there. Now it's a delayed offside against the Barrie Colts. Peter Green. He'll send this one along the boards. That's tipped into the zone by Arda. Gardner comes up with it now for the Barrie Colts. Has it deep in his own zone, being chased behind the net by Avery. Gardner sends this one ahead to Schneid. William Schneid carrying it in for the Colts. Schneid lost it there. He had his pocket picked by Arda. Arda will send that one deep. Around the boards, Armstrong first one on it for the Colts. He's going to send this one around near side. After it, here's Vader. Vader flips this one down the ice. David Green, after that bouncing puck, it ends up deep in the Brampton zone. Von Richter with possession. We'll send this one up the middle. Here's Demiglio. Demiglio's pass goes to an open wing, trying to get to it himself. Armstrong's run over. Big hit there from Demiglio. Steelheads get it out to center, and then Vader nearly took out Witkowski, and that's going to be offside as Teague Vader had Witkowski lined up in the neutral zone.
Very physical second period here. Saw that big hit on Armstrong, and then Vader tried to line up his man in the middle of the ice there. We saw Eliason a couple of minutes ago. Evan Passmore's been really physical over the last couple of shifts as well.
Well, Gene was mentioning just that conversation he had with Dylan Smoskowitz that they want to be that team that nobody wants to play against, and it all starts with that physical play, and we are seeing that quite a bit here tonight from the Barrie Colts, unlike what we saw last night against Sudbury.
Well, the Barrie Colts, they have the potential to be a very physical team. When you look at some of the guys in the lineup, I mean, Salandra and Calvin Crombie, they don't look like it, but they'll lay the boom whenever they want to. You look at the fourth line, guys like Jonah McCormick, Luke Govero, you got Passmore, Eliason on the back end. Of course, Keishon Aitchison as well. Cole Baudouin, a very physical player.
So we got 11:55 remaining in the second period. It's kind of an extended period after the shattered glass in the first period. If you're just joining the broadcast, Alex Asadorian, a great shot, went over the net, shattered the glass. Josh McCann shared it on his socials. The scene here at the CAA Centre, something that we don't see often.
I tried putting it in the chat. I don't know if it made it there, but
I never saw it come up. But if you are watching the broadcast later, I did put the webcam pointed towards the scene, so maybe you could see it a little bit there if you go back into the stream. But right now it is the second period. Still no score between the Colts and the Steelheads as McCormick will get this one out. McCormick dumps Peter Green. Puck goes back into the Brampton zone. Harding behind his own net. Being chased there by Edgar. Steelheads move it ahead. That's Motto. Amato sends this one around the boards. After it on the near side, that's Botno. Botno can't hold on to it. Puck goes back to the corner. Eliason there to pick it up for the Colts. Emerton, after the loose puck, continues it around to McCormick. McCormick gets the line, and that will escape the zone. Loose puck picked up by Edgar. Over to Desiderio. Back to Edgar, but Harding read that play. And he's going to send this one out to center ice, and then Sherratt nearly got a breakaway opportunity. That puck got by him, ends up in the corner. Both teams completing line changes. Desiderio comes up with it for the Colts. He takes a hard hit, gets it up to Gardner. His shot stopped by Johnson as Nicholas Desiderio takes the hit to make the play, but Luke Johnson with the big stop.
Desiderio, great couple games here to start this weekend. Scored a goal last night, and then here tonight, really nice pass up to Gardner there. Got in all alone, but Johnson able to make the save, and on top of that, Desiderio's had a couple other opportunities as well tonight.
Yeah, he's been involved in the play, and I noticed in the comment section, I think it's Tammy and a few others, pretty excited about Desiderio and hoping he'll be the one that scores the first goal tonight. Right now, it's still no score. 10:58 left to go in the second period. Face-off coming to the right of Luke Johnson. Salandra digs it free. He's taken down by Patton, and that's going to be a penalty. It's another hook against the Brampton Steelheads, so the Barrie Colts are going back on the power play.
Nice response there by Salandra. Patton was complaining about it, so Salandra just picks up the puck, grabs it, looks at them, and goes, yeah, that's a penalty.
We've been seeing more of that this season from players interacting. I think it was one of the Sudbury players last night reacting to Sam Black.
Odell, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, remember back in Niagara, Emil Hemming patting Noah Reed on the head.
Right. So it is a Barrie Colts power play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. As the Steelheads quickly get this one down the length of the ice. Jaswal playing it behind his own net. Leaves it for Cole Emerton. Power play down to a minute 47. Skating it ahead. That's Joe Salandra. Salandra goes to Gardner towards the net. Johnson guides that to the corner. Carter Lowe with possession along the boards. He's tied up trying to play it. Lowe along the boards. Salandra gets it back to Emerton. Far side. That's Gardner. Gardner takes the shot. That was deflected. Ends up behind the net. Salandra guides it over to Sementsov. Sementsov back to the blue line is Emerton. Cole Emerton. Salandra one-timer. Misses the net. I think Von Richter may have got a piece of it. That's going to sail back to the Colts blue line. Emerton inside his own line. He's got some room. He's going to go for a skate. Enters the offensive zone. Emerton passes it over. Here's Gardner. Gardner peels back to the line. Dropping there for Sementsov. Sementsov can't get to it in time. Steelheads get it out. Salandra gets it back to Lowe. Soft pass there. Picked up by Von Richter. Von Richter knocked away. Great work by Salandra. Loose puck. Crombie chasing after it. And then the Steelheads able to get it out. Sementsov at center. Sends this one back to Emerton. Ahead for Newton. Here's Jaden Newton. Newton enters the zone. Nearly offside on that far side. Here's Crombie. Dropping it back. Blocked by Sherratt. He's able to get this one out. We're now past the midway point of the hockey game. The Colts still on the power play for another 30 seconds. Teague Vader. He'll drop this one back to Crombie. Crombie to Asadorian. Asadorian carries it in. Drops to Newton. Jaden Newton from the corner sends it behind the net. Asadorian continues it to Armstrong. Armstrong on the far side. He's tied up. Back to the line. Vader and Newton or Crombie had that pass go into his skates, or he would have had an open net. Puck sent down the ice. Vader with it. 5 seconds left in this man advantage. As we've got under 9 minutes remaining here in the second period. There's a chance. That's wide of the net. Steelheads after it in the Barrie zone. There's Green's shot. Jaswal got the blocker on it. And that's going to go out of play. Shots right now favoring Barrie 17-13. And those two power plays, they've generated several great chances.
Yeah, they haven't looked bad on either power play. They've been creating some good looks, but just not able to find the back of the net. Luke Johnson, I mean, the numbers only say an .890 save percentage, but he's looked pretty solid tonight. A guy looking to get more games. Zach Bowen's just a workhorse for the Brampton Steelheads, already playing in 26 games this season for them.
Yeah, but when you look at all three goaltenders for the Brampton Steelheads, Luke Johnson has the better save percentage at .890, and then Zach Bowen at .888. The Steelheads, they do play Kingston tomorrow, so it sounds like it should be Bowen getting the start against the Frontenacs tomorrow here at the CAA Centre. We'll do this face-off again to the left of Arvin Jaswal. And, of course, tomorrow the Colts home to the London Knights. Expect Ben Horevic to be back between the pipes for that one. Face-off one by the Steelheads. They keep this one in play. Puck goes to the corner. After it there is Amato. Amato sends it behind the net for Passmore. Passmore sends it out, but that's kept in by David Green. And that one gets a little too much and out of play.
You know, I'm glad that last incident happened on the road, not at home, because I was going to be the one at home that would have had to fill all that time.
You could have done it.
I could have. I just don't want to.
You're slowly becoming a professional.
Slowly.
Well, you're doing a great job, Josh.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Josh. So face-off coming to the right of Jaswal. 8:31 left to go in the period. There's a one-timer from the point. That was David Green. And again, Jaswal square to the shot. And we're seeing that a lot here right now from the Steelheads, trying to get those shots from the point and getting that traffic in front.
A nice look there for David Green. The Steelheads a bit shorthanded on the back end. You mentioned Jakob Fibiger out of the lineup with the World Juniors. Zach Nyman missed some time this season. That's a guy with a bit of potential for this Brampton Steelheads back end.
And still, it's a pretty solid defensive unit that the Steelheads team has. When you've got Green and Von Richter as your top pairing here tonight. Then faceoff will come to the right of Jaswal. Newton's going to come in to take the draw here against the Colts. Being tossed out of the faceoff circle now is Manuel Amato for Brampton. So in steps Joshua Avery. Steelheads win this one back to the point. Green sends this one around down in the corner. Botno, he loses an edge. Emerton trying to play it along the boards. Puck goes back to the corner. Botno taken into the boards by Emerton. Loose puck picked up by Amato. Amato taken into the boards by Eliason. That's a hit from behind. And that's going to be a penalty against the Colts defenseman. Now you get some rough stuff after the whistle as Avery and Newton are mixing it up in the corner. I believe it's just going to be the one penalty, although the second referee put his arm up late. So we'll see if there's any extra penalties, but for sure, Gabriel Eliasson's going off for that hit from behind.
Well, he probably did it in the worst spot in the ice because there was an official like half a foot away from where he hit him. And yeah, that was definitely a penalty.
Well, we'll see if it's going to be reviewed. The officials right now having a conversation. Our referees tonight, Matt Bolby and Jesse Wilmot. And I think they're going on the tablet here. So they're going to review this one. They're going to call it a major, but of course, whenever they call a 5-minute major, they have to review it. And that's what they're going to do here.
It looked like a pretty dangerous hit from this vantage point, so probably a good idea to look at it. We haven't been able to see a second angle yet, so be a bit easier to tell at slower speed.
Yeah, well, they have the different camera angles to use here. So they're going to take a good look at this one, and we'll find out if it's going to be a 5 or if they'll reduce it. But from our vantage point, it was a hit from behind. Like you said, we don't have the advantage of another camera because they're not showing the review on the scoreboard here at the CAA Centre. But that's the thing, Gabriel Eliasson, he wants to be that intimidating force. He wants to be the physical defenseman, but he's still trying to figure out that line, I believe, between what's a clean hit and what's, going to be called a penalty every time. And this is an example of that.
Well, yeah, you got to remember your size. I mean, maybe if Gabriel Eliasson's 6 feet tall there, maybe he's just pushing a guy into the board, but there he runs him from behind. And we've seen that before. I mean, it's I'm sure it's tougher to do than as we talk about it, just making it sound so easy. Like, yeah, just go out there and don't take a penalty. But when you're that big, I mean, it can be hard to not take a lot of penalties. I think he's done a better job this season. He's been a bit more disciplined. Yesterday he gets a bit unlucky with a delay of game penalty, but then every now and then we see a moment like that.
And, I give credit to Gabriel Eliasson. As you mentioned, he has been improving his game. He has taken that step. He's been playing a lot more disciplined this year than last year. Last year was a lot of growing pains for him, trying to understand the league, trying to figure things out, wants to be physical. And it's going to be a 2-minute penalty, so they're going to reduce this one. So the Barrie Colts dodging a bit of a bullet here.
Well, I never saw another angle, so I'm just going to trust the officials and say, good job, guys.
I'm so glad we don't have to make those decisions. So it's going to be a power play here for the Brampton Steelheads. Their third of the night. They're already 0 for 2 with Gabriel Eliasson now in the penalty box. 8:11 left to go in this second period. Still looking for our first goal of this hockey game.
Well, 2 backups in that as well. I know Johnson's got the best save percentage for Brampton, and Jaswal's had a really strong start to the season, but still, it's neither team's number one guy out there. We're getting treated to a goalie battle here tonight.
Yeah, Jaswal and Johnson, they have been fantastic in their respective nets. Now, because of the scrum after the whistle, the faceoff brought outside the Barrie blue line. As we get play back underway, Hanser sends us down the length of the ice. That goes off the end boards, bounces in front, as that nearly caught Von Richter off guard.
Thought that hit the medic.
I thought it did too, but play continues. Puck's deep now in the Barrie zone. Carter Lowe chasing after it along the boards. Gardner can't get that out the first time. He's jamming at it. Battle ensues. It's in the skates of Patton. Gardner again takes a swing at it. Witkowski back to the line. Gardner this time, third time's the charm, gets it down the length of the ice. 1:22 left to go on the power play here for the Steelheads as they regroup deep in their own zone. Von Richter ahead for Sherratt. Back to Von Richter. Parker Von Richter carrying this one in. Trying to send that to the corner. It's taken away, and the Colts clear it. Loose puck. Patton's going to come back to play it here for Brampton. He's got William Schneid on the forecheck. Patton's going to leave it there for Von Richter. Sherratt on the near side through the neutral zone. Sherratt carrying it in. That's knocked down. Good hand-eye there by Vader. Schneid skates it up shorthanded. William Schneid trying to get around Von Richter. He's taken into the boards, back behind the Brampton net. Now it's Joshua Avery for the Steelheads. We'll pass this one up to Zabeski. Zabeski carrying it in for Brampton, poked off a stick by Hanser. Puck goes to the corner. Hanser with it. Avoids the hit from Sherratt. Puck's dug free in front. After it is Newton, and he's going to scan it out. Jaden Newton carrying it in for the Colts. Newton towards the net. Stopped by Johnson. Had the paddle down. 20 seconds left now in the penalty to Eliasson. Colts trying to get to it. Avery inside the blue line. Flips that one well over the glass. And that's going to go out of play with 13 seconds now left in the penalty.
Well, Joshua Avery almost kind of was in the same situation as Calvin Crombie, where he was playing on the Brantford Bulldogs, and they kind of just ran out of room for guys like Crombie and Avery, and they decided to work with them, find a new home for them here in the OHL. And Avery, kind of similar to Crombie, is looking like a pretty decent piece to this Brampton Steelheads team. 17 points over his first 28 games.
And he's fitting quite well with this Brampton Steelheads team, being put out there in various situations. As the Colts win the faceoff and right away clear it. A great penalty kill for the Barrie Colts, keeping things simple. Steelheads regroup their own zone. Cartwright sends this one across. Carrying it in, Witkowski. Witkowski loses it. Cartwright follows it up. He's going to go down low. That goes around the boards. David Green's there, takes the shot. Jaswal got a piece of it. Puck comes to the point, kept in by Cartwright as the power play has expired. So the Steelheads now 0 for 3 on the power play. Brampton with it. That's going to be sent down to the corner. In front, bouncing puck. Picked up here as that one's deflected wide. Getting that shot was Richmond. Macedonian. He's taken into the boards. Hanser will send it around. No one there for the Colts. Cartwright comes off the blue line. Cartwright puts it off the side of the net. Puck goes to the far corner. Green off the point. Kicked aside by Jaswal. Cartwright. He takes a hard hit there from Crombie. Crombie getting involved in the play down low. Trying to dig it free as Cartwright ended up on top. The official's going to blow the play dead. And that's going to get the faceoff, I believe, outside the Barrie blue line. But what a hit there from Calvin Crombie.
Yeah, Calvin Crombie, you'd never realize he was out of the lineup for a month. He came right back in and has been laying the body, creating some good scoring opportunities as well.
Well, Crombie is just such a battler. And I know Gene and I talked about that in the first period and how he was just itching to get back into the lineup. And, you know, for Dylan Smoskowitz, shorthanded with players off the World Juniors, he'll take it.
You know, I remember a couple months ago when Barrie was heading to Brantford, the game before that, the Saturday against Kitchener, Crombie was out of the lineup. I saw him in the tunnel after the game and with Gene, and we asked him how he was doing. He said, "Oh, you know, a bit of a groin injury, but, you know, figured I'd sit this one out, but I'm not missing Wednesday. I'll be playing Wednesday."
But that's just the type of guy he is. He wants to play. And, of course, it was against his former team, too, the first trip back to Brantford. But that just goes to show his personality. And he's a battler, and that's what you need, especially if you're a Colts team challenging for top spot in the Central Division.
Well, we actually interviewed him that game, and I remember him saying to me that, you know, even on a broken leg, I probably would have tried to convince Dylan Smoskowitz to let me go out there.
I guess no maintenance days for Crombie. So we'll get play back underway. 5:20 remaining in the second period. Still no score here at the CAA Centre between the Colts and the Steelheads. Stankov is going to take the draw here against Brad Gardner. No, Gardner's going to be tossed out of the faceoff dot. So in steps Bodie Stewart. So we'll try this again. Gardner getting into place. Stewart takes the draw and wins this one back to his defense. Armstrong to Vader. Vader up the wing. Gardner will tip that one into the Brampton zone. Puck goes deep. David Green after it. Green takes a hit there from Salandra. He's going to pick his pocket. Gardner takes the shot, blocked by Stankoven. Green behind his own net, sends this one around. Armstrong on the far side. Keeps this one in. It's in the skates of Stewart. There's a shot from the point. That's blocked. Arda sends this one into the zone. Eggleton with possession, passes it across, but can't connect with Stankoven. Stankoven comes up with it again here for Brampton. Had his pocket picked by Gardner, and he's going to skate this one out. Brad Gardner through the neutral zone, flips this one into the zone. Colts are making a line change. Von Richter there to play it. Sends it behind his own net to David Green. Green to Von Richter. Back to Green. Steelheads trying to set things up as they also make a line change. Shots still favoring the Barrie Colts, 18-14. Steelheads move this one up. Avery from his own blue line, knocked off stride there by McCormick, far side. Steelheads dump this one in. Eliason after it. Avery trying to get corralling that one. Botnose there. Continue to battle. It's in the skates of Eliason. He's just moving everybody away from it. There's a shot from the point. That goes wide in the net. That was Cartwright. Colts, though, can't get it out. Puck's in the corner. Emerton's going to flip it behind the net for Eliason. Up ahead to McCormick. Here's Jonah McCormick. He'll skate this one out for Barrie. Dumps this one towards the net. That goes wide. Off the end boards. Edgar gets the puck there into the corner. Doesn't take much as Zabeski will knock it free. Skates us out to center ice. McCormick has it in his skates. Takes a hard hit. Delivering that check was Manuel Amato. Eliason sending this one up to Desiderio. Desiderio gets the line. Not out. Kept in by Sherrod. Sherrod sends to the corner. There's Patton. Patton in a battle there with Eliason. He's taken down. Puck rolls to the net. Emerton able to collect it. Cole Emerton gets this one out. Patton and Eliason still having a battle behind the play. Puck goes deep into the Brampton zone. Steelheads trying that long pass. Sherrod got a stick on it, but it's taken away by Hanser. Dustin Hanser in his own zone. 3 minutes remaining in the period. Sementsov chips that one in, but ends up going over the glass and out of play.
No, 4.5 doesn't seem like a lot of time, but the added 4.5 has made this period really, really long.
Yeah, because it was a 4.5 minutes to finish the first period after the glass delay.
It feels like we've been doing this for like 2 hours.
Well, it was such a long first intermission, so they had to clean the glass and get a new pane in, Zamboni. A little bit of everything as Peter Green sends us into the Barrie zone. From the corner, there's a shot stopped by Jazz while puck's loose, sent to the corner. Wojtkowski comes up with it for the Steelheads. Back to the blue line. Kieran Wojtkowski from the near point. Sends this one around the boards behind the net. Picked up by Harding. Harding leaves it for Wojtkowski. Wojtkowski hits the brakes. Sends this one in front. Not able to get on it was Richmond. And the Colts skated ahead. Here's Crombie. Crombie up ahead to Asadorian. Puck goes to the corner. Drops it there for Crombie. Calvin Crombie in front. Sementsov couldn't get to it in time. Hanser to the corner. Puts it in front. That goes through the crowd. Passmore comes off the blue line. Towards the net. Hits the side of the goal. Passmore's behind the Brampton net. Puck goes to the corner. Evan Passmore drops it back. Crombie after it. Loose puck picked up by Sementsov. Sementsov back to the point. Teague Vader takes the shot. Stop. Rebound. Bounces just wide of that near post. Vader almost got the first goal of the game. Puck's it sent out. And now putting it over the glass and out of play is Ethan Armstrong. As we'll get a face-up. But Teague Vader coming so close to that first goal.
He's had some good chances tonight. He's played pretty well. He's made some nice passes. Been a bit physical as well. He tried to take someone's head off in the middle of the ice there about 10 minutes to go, but at Teague Vader, another one of those guys. He was in and out of the lineup early in the year, but now he's getting a run of games here with Kayshawn Aitchison out of the lineup and has done a solid job.
Yeah, and he just doesn't miss a beat. Fits right in with this Barrie Colts defense as David Green takes a run at Schneid along the boards. Puck goes behind the Brampton net. In the corner, David Green after it here for the Steelheads. Along the boards, sends this one ahead. Pass nearly taken away by Lowe. Sherrod catches up to it. Sherrod trying to split the defense. Puck goes to the corner. Steelheads back to the line. Von Richter across to Green. David Green takes the shot, deflected out of play. And we'll get another face-off with 1:28 left to go in this second period.
It's interesting, Vader and Armstrong on the same pairing, while also kind of competing against each other. I mean, with the way Hanser and Emerton have performed this season, I think they've kind of locked in full-time spots, and that kind of leaves one spot on the sixth defenseman, Ethan Armstrong and Teague Vader. They're 67 right now, and so they're kind of competing for when Kayshawn Aitchison comes back, who's going to be in the lineup more often.
It's going to be some tough decisions coming up, and of course, with the trade deadline, what did the Barrie Colts do? Did they add another defenseman? Such an interesting time with January 10th looming. Here's Bodie Stewart deep in his own zone as we're approaching the final minute of the second period. Puck's bouncing. Stewart with possession. He'll send it ahead to Gardner. Gardner gets this one out to center ice. Von Richter flips this one back into the Barrie zone. Emerton there to pick it up for the Colts. Goes behind the net. Sends this one over to Stewart. Stewart passes it ahead. Here's Brad Gardner. Up ahead to Salandra. Salandra into the attacking zone, trying to cut to the net, but Cartwright got in the way. Salandra then delivers the check. Von Richter puts it up the middle. Stewart couldn't get there in time. Puck sent out to center ice. Teague Vader comes up with it for Barrie. Vader's got some space. Long pass up to Salandra. Salandra just backhands this towards the net. Newton can't get to it in time. Puck goes behind him. Behind the net. Here's Gardner. Back to line. Vader. Timer. Stopped by Johnson. Puck goes to the corner. Colts keep it behind the Brampton net. 25 seconds left in the period. Here's Cartwright. He'll skate this one forward for Brampton. And that's going to be sent in around the boards. Stopping it there was Jaswal. Armstrong behind his own goal. Clock running out. We're now down to 12 seconds. At center. Crombie lost the handle of it. Here's Witkowski. Witkowski across, but he puts that behind Richmond. Here come the Colts. 4 seconds left. Acidorian on the wing. Acidorian enters the zone. Waits, fires, and puts it wide at the buzzer. As we still don't have a goal here. Now we've got G going after one of the Barrie Colt players, ripping off his helmet.
Crombie.
That's Crombie. We've seen penalties called for that if you rip a player's helmet off. We'll have to wait and see what happens here. As G and Crombie mixing it up at the buzzer. I'm sure we're going to get a penalty or two out of this, but still, some frustrations developing here between the Colts and the Steelheads. As it's been an entertaining game so far, but neither one can take a lead. We've had some great chances, but boy, oh boy, the goaltending, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, Luke Johnson and Arvin Jaswal have both played a great game tonight. There's been some really good chances. I thought on Brampton's first power play of the period there, they looked like they were going to get a goal. They had a couple open cages that they couldn't convert on. They just missed it a couple of times. And then back the other way, I think the Colts power play looked better than the stats show. I mean, they're 0-for on the night, obviously, with no goals, but they were creating the chances. I don't think there was much Dylan Smoskowitz could be disappointed with on those power plays.
And for the Barrie Colts, out shooting the Brampton Steelheads 21-15. It just seems as though the power play with Emerton there as the quarterback, he was so comfortable out there, and just those passes, the crisp passes, creating those one-timer opportunities, and seeing Sementsov getting some ice time in his first career OHL game on the power play. He's making it count as well.
Yeah, Sementsov made a great play there, setting up Brad Gardner for a wide-open opportunity. He was almost able to convert on that one. Then for Cole Emerton, he's kind of the only other regular guy there. Gardner and Salandra have kind of split the duties of the fourth forward as well as Carter Lowe. So the four mainstays are Aitchison, Beaudoin, Hemming, and Cole Emerton. Emerton, the only guy remaining right now with World Juniors going on, and he did a really good job on that power play.
Yeah, so the Barrie Colts, a much better performance than what we saw last night at home against the Sudbury Wolves. The Colts getting the chances. They're playing physical. Right now with the power plays, just 3 power plays for Brampton, 2 for the Barrie Colts. So even for both teams playing a pretty disciplined game. I know we were talking to the broadcast crew from the Steelheads beforehand, kind of joking back and forth that this might be a penalty fest between these two. But, their goalies are great, and the discipline is, top-notch right now.
Yes, both teams have done a pretty good job. There's the odd penalty, but no team has really been penalized too much, like you mentioned. So they're doing a pretty good job. And the Barrie Colts, we've seen that a bit recently, and then they kind of get away from it every now and then, like last night against the Sudbury Wolves. But yeah, if the Barrie Colts keep playing like this, it's really going to be, maybe they're okay over the next couple of weeks. It's last night made it look like we were in for a rough couple of weeks, but they keep performing like they have through the first 2 periods here tonight, and they should be able to keep their heads above water.
So right now, no score to report at the second intermission here between the Barrie Colts and the Brampton Steelheads. We do have the chat live. I see we've got quite a bit of action going on there on the chat, so we want to keep the conversation going. So if you have any questions or comments, or even if you want to talk about what did the Barrie Colts do at the OHL trade deadline, you can put your thoughts and opinions there as well, and we will get to that later in the intermission. But right now, we're going to get set for the OHL news with Terry Doyle.
Hello everyone, I'm Terry Doyle. Thanks for joining us on this week's edition of OHL News. Coming up on the show, we'll catch up with what's been happening with Team Canada at the World Junior Selection Camp taking place in Niagara Falls. That in a moment, but first, this week's Cogeco OHL Player of the Week is Christopher Brown of the Sioux Greyhounds. He picked up 2 goals and 5 assists for 7 points in 3 Greyhounds victories last week as they came into this week's play on a 5-game winning streak. The 19-year-old who hails from Toronto has 33 points in his first 32 games this season, his 4th year in the Ontario Hockey League. He was originally chosen as a first-round pick, 16th overall by the Greyhounds in the 2022 OHL Priority Selection. Meantime, it's been busy in Niagara Falls as Team Canada has set up there in preparation for the World Junior Hockey Championship. Brandon Caputo of the Dog Pound podcast has been on site throughout the selection camp, and we caught up on Thursday after Team Canada beat Sweden in pre-tournament action, but before Team Canada made a roster announcement on Thursday.
Well, Brandon, you've been around Team Canada right since the selection camp started in Niagara Falls, and of course, even to the pre-tournament game that took place Wednesday night in Kitchener against Sweden. Overall, taking that sort of 30,000-foot view, what have you noticed being around this Team Canada camp right from the start of the selection camp?
Well, the first thing I've noticed, Terry, is that it's very businesslike. These guys are very focused after what were 2 very disappointing outcomes the last 2 seasons at this tournament. We had asked them sort of, do they have any plans for their off days down here in the Niagara region? Like, are they going to go sightseeing or anything like that? Nope, it's to the hotel and back. This team is very much under Dale Hunter, Mark Hunter. They know that this is a very important tournament for them to win. So the third thing I've noticed is that it's very much very professional and very serious. I mean, they are joking and things like that off the ice, but you can tell that these guys are very focused and motivated, that they really want to have a good showing at this tournament this year and show why Canada deserves to be called, the best hockey country in the world after what were very 2 disappointing tournaments the last 2 seasons. So I just think, as you mentioned, it was a roster that was sort of constructed a lot before we got here. There's only really going to be now possibly 2 cuts up front with Michael Misa coming back, only 1 cut on the defensive end unless Sam Dickinson comes back, and then they're only going to take 2 goaltenders to this tournament. So what you see on paper is pretty much what you're going to see when the puck drops on Boxing Day for the tournament.
One of the guys you've talked to is Zane Parekh, who, of course, wasn't on last year's team, was a last-minute addition to camp, but then a last-minute cut. Have you found that Zane, obviously being around the Calgary Flames, he's part of that group that's still very business-like, knowing that while he wasn't part of last year's disappointment in the tournament, he wants to be right back on the team this year and, of course, be part of a gold medal hockey club?
Absolutely. You can see how much it means to him being back here in junior hockey, as you mentioned, up with the Calgary Flames. And sometimes it's hard for those guys now that they've shifted their mindset to playing at the pros, and now they have to come back to play junior hockey. Sometimes it's difficult. But for a guy like Zane Parekh, as you mentioned, guy that didn't play on the team last year, I think he's got a lot to prove, that he can showcase why he can quarterback this power play and be the top offensive defenseman on this team. So I really think that he's motivated, and getting a friend and former Saginaw Spirit Memorial Cup champion teammate Michael Misa back is a great boost for him. And you could hear the excitement in his voice of how excited he was that Michael's coming back. So a little bit of a reunion there, but you can tell he is really dialed into what they're expecting from him, and expect him to be a big offensive catalyst on the back end.
One thing I've noticed leading into camp is hearing from Dale Hunter, and let's be honest, Dale usually is pretty limited in his words, let's say, but knowing the media presence around Hockey Canada and Team Canada needs to be maybe a bit more open, but still straight to the point and straight business-like. And of course, Dale's been in front of the microphones pretty much every day, I'm sure, at camp. What's that been like with the media assembled dealing with Dale?
Yeah, I don't think it's I think everybody knows that Dale is not necessarily the most enthused about media when it comes to interviews and things like that, as we've seen in prior OHL championship runs for London and things like that. But he's actually been fantastic, Terry. He's probably the most open and probably the most, I guess, approachable that I've ever seen Dale Hunter at a tournament like this. Maybe when the actual tournament starts, that might change. But right now at training camp and pre-tournament games and things like that, he's pretty open and joking around with the media. He's given us a couple of nice fun answers that we've been able to use as well for sound bites and things like that. But you can tell just how genuinely excited he is to be the head coach again of this team. He's been that in the past, and Nikhil Thomas golden goal. He was the head coach of that team. So I just think he's excited to be back here with Hockey Canada. Having Mark around as well as his brother in the management staff is great too. And he's got one of his players from London and Sam O'Reilly there as well. So I think he's excited about the prospects of what this team can be, because you look at it on paper, and we see this every year, but I truly believe that this is one of the better teams that they've assembled on paper in recent memory, when you look at all of the top end talent and everybody that's first round picks on this team, and the guys that will be first round picks like Gavin McKenna in next year's NHL draft. So I just think he's very much more of an open book than we usually see from a very stoic Dale Hunter.
A tight game Wednesday night, a win against Team Sweden. What jumped out to you in that game?
Carter George was phenomenal for their win against Sweden in that first pre-tournament game. They got into some penalty trouble there in the second period, Terry. They got down 5-on-3. That was the only goal that Sweden scored. It's really fun to watch the Swedes pass the puck around. They're so crisp. They play so much as a unit along with the Finnish team. Those Nordic countries, they really know how to play as a cohesive unit. So I think for Canada, it was the first time that a lot of them had played together. So it took about a period or two for them to finally start to gel a little bit. You saw some of the big end guys that were out of the lineup. The Cole Baudouins, the Tage Ginla, Porter Martone, Michael Misa wasn't there yet. Ben Danford was also out of the lineup. So they kept some of their guys that most likely will be roster players out of that game. So I think it was a showcase for some of those guys that are on the bubble and possibly the fourth and fifth line guys to show out. But Carter George kept them in that game when they started to get into some penalty trouble, but they were able to go 4 for 5 on the penalty kill. And to me, that was a big difference in the game. And Brady Martin, the somewhat Kitchener boy, 20 minutes from the farm there, had some friends and family in the building, and scored both goals. He really had some nice chemistry there with Gavin McKenna, and Dale Hunter said in the postgame it was very nice to see those two have a connection already this early into training camp. So we've seen them practicing on the power play together.
That was Brandon Caputo of the Dog Pound podcast, catching up on Team Canada at the World Junior Selection Camp. Here's a look at this week's CHL Top 10 rankings presented by Delta Hotels by Marriott. The Brantford Bulldogs are now the number 2 team in the country, surpassed by the Western Hockey League's Everett Silvertips. The OHL is also represented by the Ottawa 67s at number 6 and the Flint Firebirds at 8. That's going to do it for our show this week, our final show before the holiday season. For everyone around the Ontario Hockey League, we want to wish you all the best of the holiday season and a great start to 2026. I'm Terry Doyle. You have been listening to OHL News.
So it's the second intermission here at the CAA Centre between the Barrie Colts and the Brampton Steelheads. Still no score to report between these two teams. The goaltending has been outstanding. Both Arvin Jaswal and Luke Johnson, great between the pipes, getting the job done here. But I think we're in for an excellent third period. Might feel a bit like a chess match, though.
Yeah, it's been a really tight game. The two teams have gone back and forth a lot here tonight, and no score to report on through 2 periods. It's not often you see that, but we got that here tonight. It's been a tight game, like you said.
So we've got about just over 6 minutes left until the start of the third period. There's a lot of action going on around the Ontario Hockey League, so we'll take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard as fans starting to do a lot more scoreboard watching as we're now at the midway point of the regular season.
Yeah, it's getting pretty interesting. Playoff races starting to heat up. Erie and Sarnia kind of in their last stand mode right now. If either of those teams want to make a make a push for the playoffs, they got to kind of prove to their general managers right about now that they can have a chance. It's the Otters up 4-2 after 2 periods there. Kitchener up 3-1 on the Owen Sound attack after 2 periods. Dominant effort from Kitchener. Shots are 36-13. Oshawa taking on London, who the Barrie Colts will see tomorrow. Oshawa and the Knights tied at 2 going into the third period. The Niagara Ice Dogs, another tough one tonight. They were getting smoked by Peterborough last night. They're down 4-1 to Flint after 2 periods. There, Ottawa up 3-0 on the aforementioned Petes after 2 periods. The Kingston Frontenacs up 3-2 on the Brantford Bulldogs. I know it's World Junior time, but that Bulldogs team, they still do have some of their good pieces. Jake O'Brien, Merrick Van Acker, both in the lineup. Caleb Malhotra has both the goals, but it's Kingston up 3-2, heading to the third. And then the newest wagon in the OHL, the Sudbury Wolves up 3-1 on Guelph, looking to make it a 3-game win streak and inch closer to this Brampton Steelheads team for that 8th spot in the Eastern Conference.
And the Sudbury Wolves now 7-3 over their last 10 games after the win last night in Barrie. The Wolves trying to catch these Brampton Steelheads for that final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Right now, 3 points separating Brampton from Sudbury. So, yeah, scoreboard watching in full effect. And we do have the chat open, so if you want to join the conversation or if you have any questions that you want to bring up, you can put that in the chat right now, just like Coffee House. He says, why doesn't the worldwide stuff happen in the summertime? The distribution is both good and bad, but it's totally unnecessary to organize like this, it seems. And I have to agree, because when you come into onto the road to some of these venues, I'm thinking it's next week we're in Kitchener, January 2nd. Any season ticket holders, if you're a fan of the Rangers, you're not seeing Bodwin, you're not seeing Aitchison, and you're not seeing Hemming. And that's the only time the Barrie Colts make the trip to Kitchener. And there's other situations like that where you get the cross-conference stuff. So it's, I wonder if we could make some sort of an adjustment, keep it still in the winter, but maybe play fewer games, because right now the Barrie Colts right in that middle of the 3-3. And then another 3 big games once we come out of Christmas. So I almost wonder if there should be some sort of adjustment.
Yeah, I think you nailed it there. I mean, I wouldn't put it in the summertime. I think we should be moving away from hockey in the summertime. There's already too much hockey in the summertime. There doesn't really need to be all these challenges that they do in the summer. Anyway, yeah, like you said, I think it should still be around this time, and World Juniors is kind of associated with this time. You know, it's tradition. You wake up Boxing Day and you get to watch the World Juniors. It's a great thing to watch, but like you mentioned, I think the league should be aiming to have less games during this time. Obviously, they don't want to shut down during the break, but you look at a team like North Bay, they only have 4 games during the World Juniors. That's not terrible. I mean, the Barrie Colts, they play 7 of their games during this World Junior break. By the time we get to that Kitchener game on January 3rd, that's the 7th game of this stretch that started last night against the Sudbury Wolves. I mean, it's tough for teams like Barrie. I mean, you've lost all 3 of your star players, and you're not just losing them for 3 or 4 games. They're going to lose Bodwin and Aitchison for 8 games, and Emil Hemming for 7. That's assuming Canada and Finland make it to the medal round, but I'm locking that in, that Canada and Finland will be in the quarterfinals and the semifinals. Yep.
Okay, so you heard it here. Josh McCann is picking Canada and Finland to be in the semifinal.
We'll go. I think Bodwin, Aitchison versus Hemming in the finals. So
that would be good.
Let's call it. I won't say that Finland will make it. I'm not guaranteeing that, but I guarantee Team Canada gold medal.
Wow. Okay, then. So mark that down, timestamp it, and if whatever happens, we'll come back to this moment and we'll confirm your prediction.
The States are going to win, and then you're just going to laugh. And
I'm hoping I usually like it when the underdogs do really well.
I would love a team like Latvia, and make it to the semifinals. Or
it's a good story.
Germany, they've gone through a couple tough years. I mean, they've kind of just been hanging on to the fact that they're the second worst team at the World Juniors the last couple of seasons. So I'd love for them to make a run. Yeah, it's always fun. And Denmark's the 10th team in this year. I'd like to see Denmark not be the team relegated back. I don't like seeing when a team comes up for a year and then they're just right back down.
That quick appearance and whatnot. Yeah. But so it's going to be fascinating to see how the World Juniors all plays out. And I'm also seeing that Tammy is a big fan still of Nicholas Desiderio, and she's really hoping he scores the first goal of the game. Desiderio got the only goal last night against the Sudbury Wolves, so he is a worthy candidate. We'll have to wait and see what happens here in the third period.
All the way Desiderio's played through the first 2 periods of this game, I think he's definitely a very good pick by Tammy there. He's been one of the Barrie Colts' best players on the ice, and we'll have to see if either of these teams can get a goal here for the third period, or yet to see that tonight.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I think this may become a bit of a chess match as the two teams now on the ice getting ready for the third period of play. And it's been an entertaining one so far from the CAA Centre. Both goaltenders, Jaswal Johnson, standing tall. We had the shattered glass from Alex Asadorian at the end of the first period. You had a little bit of everything, but it's been an entertaining one. We'll see how it all plays out. We've got Calvin Crombie in the penalty box for the Barrie Colts, along with Reed G. So the two players in the box after the scrum that happened at the end of the second period. So a little 4-on-4 hockey here in this third period.
Reed G, 23 games this year. He doesn't have any goals, but he does have 40 penalty minutes. So he's one of those guys that takes some penalties, tries to probably bait the opponents into taking penalties as well. And I'm sure the Brampton Steelheads will take a trade-off of Reed G for Calvin Crombie.
So the third period underway. The Steelheads take it back behind their own net as David Green's going to pass this one up to Von Richter. Zabeski dropping it to Sherratt. Sherratt enters the attacking zone, passes that across, deflected. Von Richter with it. Here's David Green on the near point. He's going to put this one around the boards. Vader lets that one go by. Gardner back to Vader. Lost that one to Sherratt. Sherratt goes behind the Barrie net. Gabriel Sherratt with possession. Back to Green. Green across to Von Richter. Von Richter finds Sherratt. Sherratt takes the shot. Stopped by Jaswal. That puck ends up behind the net. Picked up by the Colts. Salandra gets to the line, and taking out himself will be Zabeski. Zabeski skates it in again here for Brampton, trying to get it away from Vader. He'll peel back to the line. Zabeski's pass deflected. Comes the near side. David Green puts behind the Barrie net. Emerton facing pressure there from David Green. He's going to get this one out down the ice. Salandra gives chase, trying to get it around Green. Salandra will hit the brakes. Colts are making a line change. Off the bench is Asadorian. Asadorian takes the shot, puts that one wide. Just misses that far post. Colts can't keep this one in their own zone, so Hanser comes back to his own blue line. Justin Hanser skates this one in for the Colts. Hanser down low for Barrie, hits the brakes, trying to keep it away from Harding. Hanser still with it, behind the Brampton net. The Colts defenseman moving it along. Asadorian couldn't hold on to that as Patton will come up with it now for Brampton. Drops that back to Harding. 25 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Steelheads get this one out. Here's Avery. Avery carrying this one in. Patton just stayed on side. There's Harding, his shot on goal, and Jaswal seeing that one as he makes the save at the top of the blue paint.
Nice look there for Jared Harding. Looking for his first OHL point. Finn Harding was a mainstay on this Brampton defense for a couple of years, and now Jared coming in. He's not one of the bigger guys on the back end, only 5'8", but making the most of it.
It just seems natural having a Harding on the Steelheads lineup. There's just some of those family names that they have to be on that team. Here's Witkowski. That shot's deflected over the net. Puck goes to the corner. Miglio will send this one back to Cartwright. Cartwright gives that one up. Here's Witkowski backtracking at the blue line. The penalties have come to an end. Witkowski will send that one around. Miglio knocks it down behind the net. He's in a battle with Jaden Newton. Eliasson ties up his man as the battle continues behind the Barrie net. Newton trying to dig this one free. The officials still see it, so they're not going to blow the play dead. And now we'll get the whistle as putting a skate on the puck there was DeMiglio.
You mentioned the Hardings, like looking around the league. You got the Frascas. They've been in the league for a while. The He brothers in Niagara.
Yeah. I always find that there has to be a McFadden with the Guelph Storm. As long as I've been covering the league, I feel like there is always a McFadden. I don't know. That's the interesting thing about junior hockey. So they get the face-off here to the left of Jaswal. Gardner is going to take the drop against Stankoven. Face-off won by the Colts, and that's going to roll on net. Jaswal not taking any chances, and he'll just cover it up.
Matesh Stankoven, 6 goals, 6 assists, and 30 games this season. Remembering back to the preseason, saw the Brampton Steelheads, one of our testing of this, and he had a wicked shot on that one goal.
Yeah, that was all the way back in September. That's a good memory.
Thank you.
Colts get it out. Stewart's going to send this one deep. David Green there to play it. Up to Matto. Matto has that knocked away. Ends up in the neutral zone. Picked up by Armstrong. Armstrong passes one ahead. Knocked away there by Amato. Puck's bouncing. Stankoven finds it. Stankoven passes it across, but Amato can't get a stick on it. Puck still deep in the Barrie zone. Stankoven shot stopped. Rebound. David Green fires, and it's stopped by Jaswal. Vader gets this one down the ice. That's going to go all the way back into the Brampton zone. And an icing call against the Colts as Brampton putting up some pressure early on here in this third period.
Some good looks there. Stankoven coming through the middle. Nice shot on Jaswal. Set up the rebound. David Green comes from the point down low. Not a good opportunity for Brampton, but Jaswal another big save.
So we got the face-off now to the right of Jaswal. Patton taking the draw against Gardner. Face-off won by the Colts, but they didn't do this one cleanly, so they'll try this one again as we're just past the 3-minute mark of this third period. So Gardner steps in against Patton. Gardner will win this one back to Armstrong. Sends it back around the net. Stewart. I'm going to give that one back to Vader. Gardner is there. Sebeski had it for a moment. Sebeski gets it back in the corner, battling there with Vader. Sebeski's taken down. Play continues. Gardner turns it over to Patton. Back at the point. Here's G. Takes the shot. And Jaswal again makes the save. As it's been all Brampton, really, to start this third period.
Can we give a shout out to the OHL Twitter page just for a moment? They posted the video of the glass breaking, and they called Alex Asadorian Alex Broken Glassadorian.
And I thought Gene was bad with the puns.
Hey, you get in there too. Don't act like you're.
I know, but Gene had some good ones there after the glass shatter. But I'm glad to see that the OHL social media is hopping on that too. Puck goes deep into the Brampton zone. G trying to dig this one free for the Steelheads. Battle continues. G knocks it out. Goes behind his own net. We'll skate this one forward. G taken away there by Newton. Great work there. Jaden Newton to the net. Takes the shot. Stop. Rebound. Trying to tuck it around. What a save by Johnson. Oh my goodness. Jaden Newton, a fantastic opportunity. But Luke Johnson says no.
That was G turning it over at the blue line. Newton coming in. Tons of space. Decides to shoot it right into the chest of Johnson. Then tried to work around with Johnson getting the pad out. Good job on defense as well from Owen Cartwright. One of the guys coming into the lineup to replace Fibiger and Nyman, and does a great job there blocking off the passing opportunity for Newton, which made it easier for Johnson to stay right on him.
Steelheads will get this one out as we're still looking for our first goal of this hockey game. We're now past the 4-minute mark of this third period. Some great chances for both teams. The goaltending that's been outstanding. Colts have it in the Brampton zone. Asadorian shot stopped by Johnson. That puck goes to the corner. Crombie trying to corral that loose puck. Ends up behind the Steelheads net. Sementsov, he's tied up by Harding. Steelheads get this one to the line. That's Richmond. To Demiglio. Demiglio drops back to Witkowski towards the net. Bouncing wide. Jaswal got a paddle on it. Puck goes into the blue paint. Steelheads can't get to it. Colts get it out. Here's Calvin Crombie through the neutral zone. Crombie carrying this one in for Barrie. Crombie following Sementsov. Now he'll hit the brakes. Crombie trying to get away from Von Richter. Crombie still with it. Von Richter, he's the shadow right now. Steelheads take it away. They're going to send this one around the boards. Passmore keeps it in, takes the shots, and Johnson able to make that save as Evan Passmore was just trying to get that puck to the net.
This line of Sementsov, Crombie, and Asadorians worked pretty well tonight, and thought it was a smart idea from Dylan Smosquist putting Sementsov alongside a couple of overagers, two guys that have played a ton of games in this league to really help him out and be right there by his side through his first game.
Well, two great guys to learn from, Asadorian and Crombie. They bring so much experience from this league. And Sementsov making his OHL debut here tonight. He's looked pretty comfortable out there. I'm sure there's some nervousness, but he's not showing it right now as the Steelheads get this one down the ice. Teague Vader chasing after it, and that's going to be an icing call, bit of a late whistle, as Vader was looking a little confused as to why there wasn't a whistle when that puck crossed the line.
Well, I got to talk to Calvin Crombie yesterday in the second intermission on our Rogers broadcast, and he talked to me about how it's not just about helping these guys with their on-ice play, but the mental side of the league. I mean, it can get to be a grind at some points, especially for the Barrie Colts right here, going into the Christmas break with a 3-3.
Armstrong puts that to the net, paddled down there by Johnson. Puck ends up in the neutral zone. Vader's just going to dump this one back into the corner it goes. Von Richter, he'll pick it up, goes to David Green. Green flips this one to the line, kept in there by Desiderio. Green follows it up. He'll take it out himself. Green passes this one ahead. There's Arda to the net, but Green can't get a stick on it. Stankoven drops it back to Amato. Amato from the corner. He'll try and drop this back. Green fires, stopped by Jaswal. Armstrong playing it there for Teague Vader. Vader gets this one out down the ice. And that's going to go all the way, and it's an icing call against Barrie with 14:08 still to go here in this third period.
Still looking for our first goal. Sure for Dylan Smoswitz, he's all right with the Barrie Colts playing these types of games over the next couple of weeks. I mean, yesterday against Sudbury, you give up all those opportunities, and obviously over the next couple of weeks, you can't expect that Joe Salanter or Nicholas Desiderio magically become 50 goal scorers in the league over the next 2 weeks. But as long as they're playing good in their own zone, their netminders making saves, and they're not giving up too many chances, eventually the goals are going to come for some of these guys.
And it's all about doing the things right. And there's a pass stopped by Jaswal. Great save there off that one-timer from Sherrod. It's going to go back into the Brampton zone. No icing. Cartwright back to play it here for Brampton. Puts it off the end boards. A bounce that nearly went right to Jonah McCormick, but Luke Johnson quickly pounces on that one.
Oh, perfect bounce there for the Colts. It looked like Brampton was going to be able to take the puck up ice. Instead, it bounces right to Johnson and sets the Colts up with an offensive zone draw here.
So 13:51 left to go in this third period. It's a chess match right now between the Colts and the Steelheads. Both teams wanting to get back in the win column. The Steelheads right now riding a 3-game losing streak. Right now 3 points ahead of Sudbury in that final playoff spot. Well, Barrie had their 5-game winning streak snapped last night against the Sudbury Wolves and trying to get back to their winning ways here tonight in the middle of this 3-3.
Obviously, it's big for the Barrie Colts to keep racking up those points. North Bay Battalion only 3 points back now with a matchup in just over a week next Sunday up in North Bay, and it's going to be an interesting race between these two teams, and it could come down to what these two teams do at the trade deadline, where Barrie's probably looking at it knowing whether they go all in or not. Next year isn't probably going to be a contending season for them, whereas North Bay next year could be their year, and so maybe North Bay holds back, Barrie goes all in, and that's the difference in the division.
Yeah, that's going to be our next road broadcast. That's December 28th up in North Bay. There's a shot from the point. Stopped there by Johnson. And if you haven't clicked subscribe yet on the channel, click subscribe so you'll be notified when we have the live stream up and running. It's going to be a 2 o'clock start in North Bay, so we'll get the live stream going at 1:45, and that's the first game after the Christmas break.
Sure, it's always nice when the Colts don't have to play on the Saturday night before, and North Bay can catch some teams with that 2 p.m. Sunday start.
There's a shot from Hanser, blocked by Sebeski. Hanser keeping it down low. Salandra back to the line. Here's Passmore, takes the shot. That's blocked. Passmore takes it down low. In front, Stewart can't get a stick. Salandra fires. Johnson the save. It's loose. They dig at it. Gardner fires, and that stays out. How did that not go in? Puck comes back to the point, kept in by Hanser. Here's Salandra, just keeps that one in the offensive end. Puck goes behind the net. Stewart kicks it back to Gardner. Here's Hanser. His shot goes over the net. Puck's in the corner. Stewart after it. The Steelheads trying to get this one out, and they will. Some great opportunities there for the Barrie Colts. Somehow, with Luke Johnson able to make those huge saves. Puck's at center. Knocked there by Salandra. Back to the Brampton blue line. Here's Witkowski on the near wing. Kieran Witkowski on the net. Stopped by Jaswal. D'Amiglio was going to the net. Witkowski comes up with it. Back to Harding at the point. Harding down low. There's a shot. Stopped there by Jaswal. Firing that was McGregor Richmond. Macedonian carrying it in. Takes the shot wide of the net. Bouncing off the end boards. Lively boards here at the CAA Centre. Puck's at the point. You would throw in the glass. Macedonian behind the net. Can't get a stick on it. And the Steelheads get it out. Colts pick it up. That's Eliason at his own blue line. Here's Emerton. Emerton's going to dump this one in. Around the boards it goes. Harding on the far side. Keeps this one down low. It's Peter Green. Over to Witkowski. Witkowski facing pressure there from Sementsov. Harding on the far side now for Brampton. Steelheads get it to the line and out. Asadorian, though, takes it away. Eliason dumps this one in. That one goes off the stick of Peter Green and out of play. So we'll get another whistle here with 12 minutes remaining.
Well, the Colts have been ramping up the pressure there over the last couple of shifts. That Pat Gardner, Solandra, and Stewart line with some big opportunities. It starts with a shot from Passmore, a big block there. Takes a player out. Stewart just misses there right out front of the net. Then Solandra takes a shot, stopped by Johnson. Puck comes loose. Gardner with a big opportunity, two of them as well. And then Johnson somehow slides out there to make a big save. And eventually Brampton was able to clear it to safety.
I think it was Parker Von Richter with the pad stack as well in the crease. Steelheads can't get it out. Kept in by Armstrong. Along the board, Steelheads get to it. They'll flip this one down the ice. Vader back to play it. Won't be enough for icing. Vader behind his own net, being chased there. He'll skate it forward. Teague Vader reaches center, still with it, up ahead to Schneid. Schneid. That one sent into the zone. Here's Jaden Newton. Newton along the boards in a battle with Cartwright. Steelheads will get this one out to center, picked up here by Lowe. They'll go to the near side for Armstrong. Armstrong sends it ahead. Schneid gets it deep into the Brampton zone. Cartwright takes a hit there from Newton. Newton trying to dig it free on the forecheck. Newton nearly got it. Here's Eliason keeping it down low. Puck's in the corner. Cartwright takes the hit again from Newton. As G gets this one out and down the ice. Puck's bouncing. Trying to get to it there is Arda, taken away by Eliason. Here's Emerton. We'll flip this one out to the neutral zone. Puck's bouncing. McCormick couldn't get there in time. Steelheads with it in their own zone. Von Richter to the near side. David Green back to Von Richter. Ahead for Amato. He's going to send this one behind the Colts net. Eliason gets to it. Picked up by Emerton. Emerton stopped there by Amato. Puck's in the corner. Taken away here by Edgar. Up ahead to Desiderio. Nicholas Desiderio sends this one deep. Back behind his own net. That's Johnson playing this one around. Taken away. In front and puts it wide was Desiderio. Some bounces there off the end boards. Colts nearly took advantage. But Desiderio could not deflect it in. Puck takes a bounce off the stanchion. Amato keeps that one in. The Steelheads making a line change. Puck's deep. Sherratt to Patton. Patton from the corner. Tied up there by McCormick. Colts trying to get it out. Here's Desiderio. Nicholas Desiderio gets to center ice. Dumps this one in. Takes a bounce. Johnson couldn't control that one as it bounces nearly to Brad Gardner. Puck goes back behind the Steelheads net as we're past the midway point of the third period. Still no score. Gardner chips this one deep. Harding comes up with it here for Brampton. Being chased there by Bodie Stewart. Harding still with it. Passes it forward into the zone. Richmond. That goes off a leg. Passmore collects it here for the Colts. It's going to go around on the far side. Picked up there by Peter Green. And that's going to be stopped by Jaswal as he's hugging that far post. He's able to get the job done.
Oh, it feels like one of those games where it may just take a weird bounce to finally get a score here. I mean, a weird bounce there in the corner. Set Desiderio up out front. He couldn't get a stick on it. And then back the other way, looked like Brampton was going to ice it. Takes a weird hop off the boards. And then all of a sudden, it looks like they may have had an opportunity.
Yeah, some weird bounces off the boards here tonight at the CAA Centre. Noticing a lot more, especially in this third period. So face off to the left of Jaswal. One goes into the boards. Stewart, he's able to get this one out and down the ice. Parker Von Richter back to collect it here for the Steelheads. Von Richter, he'll skate this one forward, reaches center ice. Macedonian disrupted that play. Crombie, linesman trying to get out of the way. Crombie will skate this one up. Calvin Crombie on the wing. A Steelhead player fell backhand. That goes wide of the net. Steelheads get to it. Witkowski taken into the boards. Semensov delivers a check as well. At the point, Armstrong can't keep it in. That's knocked away by Demiglio. Teague Vader with it. Long pass attempt. That's going to be an icing call now against the Barrie Colts. 8:54 to go.
Time's starting to tick down here, and it feels like we've seen everything tonight except a goal.
Yeah. Well, the shattered glass just seemed to take all the attention, and
Yeah.
the goalies have been outstanding. It's just been one of those odd games. It was an odd drive, even just getting here, and this just tops it off.
You know, people say it's about the journey, not the destination. Tonight, it was only about getting to the destination.
It was not a great drive down here.
But Gene, he got here an hour before us. Nothing happened to him.
Well, he came from Oakville, so he had a nice little drive here, his shortest drive of the season.
We had the snow falling all over us, and then he's sending me a text. I'm here.
Well, it's great that Gene was here ahead of time. That's going to be offside against the Barrie Colts, as Gene was able to do the pregame interviews with the coach, with Smoskowitz, and then with Gabriel Eliasson. So, you know, the MVP tonight, Gene Pereira.
Shout out.
He should be the first star.
Gene Pereira, MVP. He can't hear me.
He's zoning out. So we got 8:33 left to go. Face off outside the blue line. Some sort of tape on William Schneid. So the official takes the tape off.
We've had everything tonight.
I guess that was bothering Matt Bolby. He came all the way from the other side. He's got a big smile on his face. So play continues. Schneid taken there along the boards. Puck goes back into the Barrie zone. Here's Eliasson. Eliasson hits the brakes. Being chased there. Passes it forward to Lowe. Lowe trying to go up to Schneid. That's taken away by Cartwright. In the neutral zone, the Steelheads get this one deep. Eggleton after it here for Brampton. Picked up instead by the Colts. Carter Lowe after it. In the corner. Lowe over to Emerton. Cole Emerton taking his time. His pass finds Lowe. Lowe's pass deflected. Steelheads trying to move it up. Stankoven. That's taken away. Ends up back behind the Brampton net. Newton after it. Arda takes the hit. Harding with possession. He's tied up by Lowe. Near side. Emerton throwing the weight as well. Stankoven gets it out. Far side Arda. Arda trying to corral that bouncing puck. He'll find Amato. Amato to the net. Takes the shot. Stopped by Jaswal. Puck goes behind the net. Amato trying to dig it free. Stankoven's there as well. Picked up now by Newton. Jaden Newton will get this one to center ice. Newton sends this one deep. Both teams will make changes. Luke Johnson now with it. Picked up here by Peter Green. Green up ahead for Brampton through center. Edgar tried to take that one away. Puck goes deep. Jaswal out of his net to play it. Hanser up ahead. McCormick sends this one deep. Puck bouncing. Passmore gets it at center ice. That goes off Edgar. Passmore also knocks down the Steelheads player. Gets back up, plays it over, taken away by Sherratt. Puck sitting in the neutral zone. Colts trying to get to it, but instead it's picked up by the Steelheads. Here's Von Richter. Ahead for Patton. Look out as McCormick nearly took out Patton. Make contact with the shoulder. Play continues. Puck's deep. Zabeski behind the Barrie net. That's turned over. McCormick comes up with it. Jonah McCormick through center. He's taken down. Colts want a penalty. None coming. Steelheads move it up. Here's David Green. He's going to dump it in. Jaswal behind his own net. Leaves it for Vader. Teague Vader. We'll put this one off the glass. Out to center. David Green with possession at the center line. Skates this one ahead. Dumps it in. Far side. Teague Vader back behind his own net. Drops it there for Armstrong. Armstrong ahead to Stewart. Stewart passing that one ahead. Salandra can't get to it. Vader knocks this one forward. He'll send this one deep into the Brampton zone. And there's another collision as Vader collided with Cartwright in front of the Brampton bench. That puck's going to be sent down the ice. 6 minutes remaining in this third period. Out at center ice. Demiglio dumps this one in for the Steelheads. Armstrong comes out from behind the net. That's deflected down the ice. That's going to be an icing call against the Barrie Colts. 5:44 remaining. As this is where, if you've got any fingernails, I guess you're going to be biting them off pretty soon.
There's been a couple of really good chances here in the third for someone to get on the board, but no one's been able to yet. Real nice hit there from T. Vader on Owen Cartwright. Cartwright tried to hit him as he sent the puck in, and then Vader with the reverse hit laid him out, and that drew a reaction from the Colts bench.
Well, at this point, I think the referees are just going to let them play. So I don't think they want to be a factor in this one with the way this game has been going. Back and forth. Shots now 29-26 in favor of the Barrie Colts. As it's been a pretty even third period. Brampton got off to a great start, but since then it's been end to end and great chances for both teams.
Yeah, it's been really back and forth, and that's kind of summed up the game tonight. It doesn't really feel like at any point of the night there was a team that dominated for a 10-15 minute stretch. It's been Barrie leading, or both teams have been going really back and forth. The discussion at the Colts bench right now about where the face-off is.
Well, it looked like that was deflected. So I think that Dylan Smoskowitz is bringing that up. He doesn't feel like it should have been an icing call against the Barrie Colts, but the decision was made. Face-off will come to the right of Arvin Jaswal. 5:44 left to go in this hockey game. No score to report. Armstrong will send this one ahead in the neutral zone, picked up there by David Green. Across to Von Richter, back to Green. Macedonian here on the forecheck, chasing Green. Green forced back behind his own net. Colts completing a line change right now as Green comes out from behind the net. Sets up Von Richter. Parker Von Richter through neutral zone up to Avery. Avery backhand pass deflected. Stankoven gets it in the corner. Sends this one around. Avery on the far side. Back to Von Richter. He'll put it back behind the Barrie net. Here's Stankoven. Stankoven keeping it away from Crombie. Crombie trying to get a stick on it. That pass blocked by Eliasson. Eliasson passing that one over to Crombie. Calvin Crombie across to Emerton. Cole Emerton reaches center. He'll dump this one in. Under 5 minutes now remaining. Steelheads move this one around. Far side. Botno gets it out. Eliasson, though, he'll pick it up for Barrie. Here's Cole Emerton. Emerton backtracking. He'll send this one forward. Sementsov gets the stick on it. Picking it up is Asadorian. Asadorian into the attacking zone. Von Richter knocks that one away. Steelheads with it. Sherratt, his pass taken away by Sementsov. Eliasson inside the blue line. Long pass. Crombie tips this one into the Brampton zone. He's going to go off for a change. Von Richter sets up behind his own net. David Green with possession. Sends that one across. Steelheads get this one up. Patton at center ice. Sends it towards the net. Jaswal got a piece of it. Loose puck picked up by Zabeski. Zabeski sends this one back. There's Peter Green. His shot deflected him up through Jaswal, but misses the near post. Steelheads nearly broke the goose egg. Here's Carter Lowe. He'll skate this one in. Peter Green ties him up. Carter Lowe trying to play it. Sends it back to the point. Picked up here by Hanser. Takes the shot. That's going to go wide of the net. Armstrong winds up. Doesn't take the shot. Zabeski takes him down. Puck goes to the corner. D'Amiglio sends that one up to Sherratt. He's going to get this to the line. Not out. Kept in by Hanser. Puck goes back to the corner. Peter Green back behind the net for Harding. Harding gets this one out down the ice. There to pick it up off the bench is Teague Vader. Vader facing pressure there from Richmond. Here's Jaden Newton now through center. Newton carries it in for the Colts. Newton backhand. That's going to go behind the net. Harding collects that there for Brampton. D'Amiglio is going off for a change. Didn't see that puck coming behind him. Colts lose it at the blue line. Vader, though, able to recover. Up ahead to Salandra. Salandra trying to catch up to it. Salandra loses it there to Harding as G's going to send this one around. Witkowski on the near side. Kieran Witkowski sends that one forward. Knocked down there by Richmond. Got a battle behind the net. Got a penalty call coming. It's going against the Brampton Steelheads. Here's Salandra in the neutral zone. Jaswal's going off for the extra attacker. So Brad Gardner regrouping. Fans getting restless here at the CAA Centre. Here's Asadorian through the neutral zone, weaving his way through, passes it ahead to Gardner, but G's going to get a stick on it. And now we're going to get a call. It's going to be a high stick. So a late power play here for the Barrie Colts.
That was Bodie Stewart getting into it there with Parker Von Richter. And the two of them go at it, and then Von Richter, he just takes it that extra step. Or not Von Richter, sorry. They thought it was him at first, but they changed it. It's going to be
Oh, it's gonna be D'Amiglio.
D'Amiglio going to the box. They kind of got into a wrestling match there, and then it was D'Amiglio taking him down to the ground, and so he kind of just took it a little bit too far there, and that's what set up the penalty. Good job by Bodie Stewart not responding.
This Barrie Colts power play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. The Barrie Colts already 0 for 2 on the power play tonight. Here's Cole Emerton at the point. Cements off from the near point. Down low. Quick pass. Gardner puts it over the net. Puck's bouncing. Colts can't keep that one in. Patton knocked it free. Emerton trying to get to that loose puck. He's got Patton all over him. Fans wanting a penalty there on Emerton. Thought maybe he was holding the stick. Brad Gardner passes that one across off the skate of Von Richter. Low sends it around. Cementsov on the near side. From the half board, Cementsov back to the blue line. It's Emerton. One-timer, Salandra, and he fires that one wide, and that puck's going to sail out to the neutral zone. Emerton, they'll take this one in for the Colts. Brampton was trying to make a quick change of the penalty kill unit. Now they'll be able to, as that's going to be sent down the length of the ice. 1:05 left in the man advantage here for the Barrie Colts. Emerton receives the pass from Jaswal. Emerton gives it up to Crombie. Calvin Crombie gives it to Asadorian. He's going to set things up. He's got some momentum coming out of his own zone. Alex Asadorian carrying it in for the Colts. Backhands it forward. Armstrong gives chase, trying to keep it down low, but the Steelheads will recover, and they get this one down the length of the ice. Jaswal leaving it there for his defense. 39 seconds left to go in this man advantage. D'Amiglio in the penalty box for the Brampton Steelheads. Asadorian has to come back after in his own zone, but Bontno putting on some pressure here, shorthanded. Not allowing the Colts to set things up. Calvin Crombie, he'll reach center ice. Crombie carrying this one in. Crombie down low, passes it in front. That pass is deflected. Colts, though, keep it in. Crombie again along the far boards. Tied up there by Green. And Peter Green will get it down the ice as we're in the final minute of this third period. And the power play coming to an end. So the Colts now 0 for 3 on the man advantage. Salandra is going to send it deep. 32 seconds left in the hockey game. Steelheads get this one to the near side. Picked up by Zabeski. Zabeski sends this one into the zone. He's going to chase after it. Hanser, though, gets to it first. 20 seconds left. D'Amiglio takes the hit. Puck goes along the boards. Far side. Von Richter takes the shot. Deflected. D'Amiglio finds it. Kicked aside by Jaswal. What a save. Now we got a penalty call coming. I believe it's against the Barrie Colts, as the time will run out in regulation time. As the Brampton Steelheads, they're going to get a power play to start the overtime period. It's a slash. They didn't catch who the penalty was against, but tough break here for the Barrie Colts.
Yeah, they had a power play with an opportunity to win it. Now, instead, it's going to be now on the penalty kill going into overtime. Evan Passmore, a guy who definitely would have been out there shorthanded for them as well, heading to the box. Not what the Barrie Colts want to see.
So after 3 periods of play, no score, but 29 shots apiece for both teams. And when you look at the overtime record, the Barrie Colts, this is now 11 games that have needed extra time. That ties the London Knights for the league lead. And Barrie, they have a record of 3-1 in overtime, whereas Brampton, 5 times prior going into overtime, and they've lost all 3 of their decisions in the extra frame.
So you're saying we should look forward to some overtime tomorrow?
Potentially.
Do you want to do out of towns?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, let's just quickly reload, make sure they're all updated. Alrighty, Erie has extended their lead to 6-2 over Sarnia, 4-1 Kitchener over Owen Sound with 3 minutes to go. London beat Oshawa 5-3. Flint beat Niagara 4-3. Ottawa wins over Peterborough 4-1. Kingston beats Brantford 4-2. Sudbury up 5-2 on Guelph with 4 minutes to go.
Now I know the Brantford Bulldogs still missing some key players at the World Juniors, but that's an impressive win there for the Kingston Frontenacs. They've been playing much better of late.
Well, like we talked about the second intermission, the Bulldogs are almost so stacked that they're missing 5 guys, and they still have 2 first-round NHL draft picks and Caleb Malhotra as well, who's a projected first-round draft pick, as well as 2 really good goalies, and David Egeroff and Ryerson Landers, who should be able to keep them in these games. But a really good effort by the Kingston Frontenacs tonight, and they're able to pick up a big 2 points. They're kind of down with Brampton and Sudbury competing for those final playoff spots.
So the overtime period ready to get underway. The Steelheads on the power play. It's Evan Passmore in the box. The Colts going with Calvin Crombie, Justin Hanser, and Gabriel Eliason. As the Steelheads carry this one forward, it's Sebeski entering the zone. That was poked away there by Hanser, but that goes to the corner. Patton, he's tied up by Hanser. Hanser trying to get a stick on it. Colts have that one go in the air. It's kept in. Von Richter at the point. Over to Sherratt. That puck bounced on him. Gabriel Sherratt inside the line. Takes his time. Takes the shot. That goes over the net. No shattered glass this time, as that's the direction the Steelheads are firing. Here's Sebeski on the boards. Looks back to the point. Sebeski at the high slot. Takes the shot. That's blocked by Crombie. Sebeski, though, keeps that one in. Puck's loose. Von Richter collects it. Passes that one over to Sherratt. Back to Von Richter. Von Richter with a shot stopped by Jazzwall, and that rebound is going to go over the glass and out of play.
The puck's got some funk on it tonight. That thing went.
It was bouncing everywhere.
This feels like a big overtime for both teams. I mean, for the Colts, you're coming off a loss last night to the Sudbury Wolves, another team in your division. You want to pick up a win against the Brampton Steelheads team down in the conference. And for Brampton, you look at the out-of-town scoreboard tonight. Kingston wins and Sudbury wins. So you're going to want to keep pace with those two teams and add some more points as well, as Niagara didn't get any points tonight, so you can add some points on that.
So the Brampton Steelheads are calling a timeout here in overtime. And just a reminder, as Tammy's asking about how does the overtime work with the penalties, it's a 4-on-3 situation. So if the Barrie Colts are able to successfully kill off this penalty, it'll then be a 4-on-4 until the next whistle, and then it'll go back to 3-on-3. So it's a little different in the overtime period, but that's how they're doing it. But James Richmond calling a timeout as they're trying to get the right pieces out there with a minute still to work with on this power play.
It's time for the top unit to rest up. Barrie Colts are going to get a couple fresh bodies out there on the ice. Actually, they might just keep the same guys. Crombie was already out there.
Well, Gardner was coming off the bench, but he's back. So, yeah, no change.
Using the timeout then to keep the same guys out there.
Oh, it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
As the Colts able to rest up these three players, Crombie's going to take the face-off up against Sherratt. Face-off won by the Steelheads. Sebeski at the point. They'll trade places with Von Richter. Gives it back to Von Richter. Over to Sherratt. Gabe Sherratt comes back to the point. 48 seconds left in the power play. Sebeski on the near side. Doesn't take the shot. Comes back to the point. Sebeski to Sherratt. Sherratt doesn't take the shot again. Eliason gets a skate on it, and he's going to get it out. But no, it stays in. Sebeski, good work there. Sebeski at the point. They take their time. There's the one-timer stopped by Jazzwall, as that was a cannon from Gabriel Sherratt.
Nice job by Eliason there. Fights through a couple players to get to that puck. Tries to clear. Sebeski gloves it down and works his way across the point to Sherratt for the one-timer for Jazzwall, able to get across and make a nice save.
So face off to the right of Jazzwall. Brad Gardner coming out. He's got Eliason and Hanser with him as the defenseman. Miglio taking the draw here for the Steelheads. And now we're getting a penalty. It's going to be for a face-off violation against Miglio as he put his hand on the puck in the face-off dot. So there goes the power play. Miglio, he is not happy.
He's not happy, but I think everyone else just kind of accepted it there. So he's going to go to the box, and so now, so that no one's confused in the comments, it goes 3-on-3, and then in 26 seconds when Passmore comes out, it's 4-on-3, and then in 2 minutes, if we make it there when Miglio comes out, it's 4-on-4, and then at the next whistle, it goes to 3-on-3.
I was trying to keep track of my fingers.
And now Barrie will call a timeout with.
So yeah, it's a timeout here by the Barrie Colts. A smart move here by Dylan Smoskowitz to rest up the guys that were on the ice and set this play up. As you know, in 26 seconds, you're going to be getting a power play. So what a game this has been. I'm sure if you're a fan for either team, you're pretty stressed out with the way this game's going.
It's been a really fun game to watch. It's a bit different here. Sometimes, two backup goaltenders in net between two teams that take a lot of penalties. That sounds like a 6-5 game, but no, we've been treated to a 0-0 game here tonight, and Barrie Colts trying to pick up a big win here. Second game of a 3-3. You know you're going to be pretty tired during the game tomorrow, so you definitely want to take advantage and have a win going into tomorrow night.
So the faceoff will come to the left of Luke Johnson as Crombie is coming out along with Brad Gardner and Cole Emerton. Gardner is going to take the draw here against Matej Stankoven. Scrambled draw in the corner. Emerton back to Gardner. Gardner, he's just going to skate this one out. Doesn't like what he sees. He's going to come all the way back into his own zone. 3:14 left in overtime. Calvin Crombie. He's got some space. Hits the brakes at his blue line. Drops it back to Gardner.
Just going to kill till the power play.
Passmore ready to come out of the penalty box. So it's now a power play for the Barrie Colts, brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. Here's Joe Salandra. Enters the zone. Back to the point. Emerton. Near side Gardner. Gardner doesn't take the shot. Now he will. Stop by Johnson. Puck's loose. Von Richter gets to it, sends it to the boards. Salandra trying to dig this one free. 1:12 left in the power play. Colts dig it free. Back to the line. It's Cole Emerton. Emerton waits. Goes to Salandra on the far side. Back to Emerton. Emerton to Gardner. Gardner doesn't take the shot. Goes back to Emerton. Gardner one-timer stopped by Johnson. The goaltenders are dialed in at both ends of the ice here.
That play kind of similar to Zapeski passing it across to Sherrod for the one-timer. It's Emerton getting it on the point, sent it over to Gardner, and then the one-timer, though, right into the glove of Johnson. Another nice save from Brampton rookie netminder.
So face-off to the right of Johnston. Gardner is going to take the face-off up against McGregor Richmond. Or actually make that patent. Face-off won by the Steelheads, and Johnson not taking any chances here in overtime. He's just going to cover that up. So we'll do this face-off again to the right of Johnson. The goal light right now going off behind the Steelheads net. Not sure why.
Oh, there certainly hasn't been a goal tonight.
No. Maybe the goal light's just practicing. Hasn't had anything else to do tonight.
It runs on a timer.
Maybe that's it. You've exceeded the time. Here's Carter Lowe in the neutral zone. Drops this one back to Gardner. Gardner skates it in for the Colts. Brad Gardner. Into the corner he goes. Back to the line, Emerton. Emerton finds Salandra. Takes the shots. And Johnson again makes the save with 26 seconds left in the penalty to D'Amiglio.
Another good look there for the Colts power play. It's felt like the power plays look good tonight, but they haven't been able to find the back of the net. Salandra will step up off the pass of Emerton. And it's a nice save by Johnson. Colts will switch things up, get Crombie, Astorian, Vader, and Hanser out there now.
So the face-off will come to the left of Johnson. Scramble draw, one there by the Steelheads. Send it around, near side, kept in by Vader. Teague Vader riding the blue line. Looks, goes to Asadorian. Asadorian back to Vader. Takes the shot. Blocked by David Green. And he'll get this one out. 10 seconds left in the power play. Asadorian in the neutral zone. Takes the bump. Crombie enters the zone. That's knocked away. Asadorian carries it in, but that's going to be offside. As there's just bodies crisscrossing everywhere at the blue line.
Astorian just came in a bit too early as Hanser was trying to get back out of the zone. So now 2 seconds left in the power play here, and with the face-off outside the zone, it doesn't look like the Colts will capitalize on this one, so we'll go 4-on-4.
And then it'll be 4-on-4 up until the next whistle, and then they'll go back to 3-on-3. As D'Amiglio ready to come out of the box. And here come the Steelheads. They're carrying this one in to the net. Zapeski, puck sitting there. How did that not go in? Asadorian saves the day as that puck was just sitting on the goal line. He's coming back the other way, blows a tire. Now the Steelheads come back the other way. It's Von Richter. Parker Von Richter on the wing. Drops it back to Green. Von Richter to the net. Passes it across. Poked away by Jaswal. We're in the final minute of overtime. Here's Calvin Crombie. He'll enter the zone. Trying to Drop it, crisscross. Now it's Sebeski on a breakaway. Sebeski in the net, stopped by Hanser. He dove across to take away that chance. That was unreal. Von Richter back in his own zone. 38 seconds remaining. Sherratt. He'll skate this one up for Brampton. Peels back. Doesn't like what he sees, so Sherratt's going to restart. 30 seconds left. Cartwright receives it. He's going to skate back behind his own net. As the Steelheads, they want to have one more rush. Cartwright still behind his net. 16 seconds left. Now he'll pass it up to Sherratt. Gabe Sherratt through the neutral zone. Enters the very end. Sherratt on his backhand. He'll hit the brakes. Back to the Cartwright. Cartwright towards the net. Stopped by Jaswal. Puck's in the corner. Steelheads, they won't be able to get to it as it's picked up by Gardner. And now we're going to need a shootout because, you know what? We don't need goals.
No goals tonight, folks. That's great. Man,
it's goal scoring.
Well, it was quite the finish to overtime there. They finished 4-on-4. It felt like a 3-on-3 overtime with the end-to-end action there. And then we talked about how it felt like this game could end on a lucky bounce. Well, then all of a sudden, Asadorian coming into the zone blows a tire. 3-on-2 back the other way, set up a good chance, but the pass across blocked off by Jaswal. And then Brant Sebeski comes in with a breakaway, and Panzer somehow dives out. Not only does he knock the puck away, but he doesn't take a penalty either. And wow, what a finish here to this game. Looking back on some of the chances from overtime, Emerton across to Gardner for the one-timer. Real nice save there by Lucas Johnson. And Sebeski driving the net. Here, Emerton takes him out into Jaswal. Puck was sitting on the line. Then here, Von Richter sending it across. Jaswal just getting a piece of that one. I forgot. There were so many opportunities. I forgot about that chance. There was Sebeski driving the net, and Emerton takes him in the Jaswal, and they all go the other way. Puck's just sitting there, and Asadorian keeps it off the line.
Oh, it's just unreal. So with this being the shootout, the Barrie Colts record is 2-4 in the shootout, while Brampton 1-1. So we'll see how this all plays out. As they did the shovel, the sweep. So they've got the path because with the new rules, no Zamboni clean. So they just do the shovels and we'll get this shootout underway. And it looks like Brad Gardner will be the first shooter for the Barrie Colts. But for Brampton, it's Gabe Sherratt. So Sherratt's going to start things off here for the Steelheads. So Arvin Jaswal getting some last-second instructions. And they give the thumbs up. Sherratt, he's going to skate this one ahead. Sherratt coming straight in on net. Goes to his backhand forehand. Stopped by Jaswal. What a pad save there by Arvin Jaswal.
Nice work there. Looked like he was going to be able to get around there, but Jaswal does a nice job making that save.
So Brad Gardner is going to be the first shooter here for the Barrie Colts. The boos raining down from the stands. Gardner going wide on his forehand. Backhand scores! Brad Gardner with that move in tight. Hey, we have our first goal behind the game.
Finally, it happened. Nice move by Gardner. Going to the backhand, getting around the blocker of Luke Johnson there.
So it's going to be Josh Avery, the next shooter here for Brampton. So the Colts right now with the advantage in the shootout. Second round, here comes Avery on net. He's got speed shot, stopped by Jaswal. He just didn't give Avery anything to shoot at.
Don't know if Jaswal knew where it was, but now what a moment here. It's Alexander Sementsov in his first game with an opportunity to win it for the Barrie Colts.
What a way to end it. As Sementsov, he's going to take this one in. He's been playing some great hockey here tonight. Sementsov takes his time. Shot stopped by Johnson. He had the game on his stick, but Johnson able to make the save.
That would have been a cool way to end. A good look there by Sementsov, but Johnson able to make a nice save. I noticed that they still run the clock here in the shootout.
Yeah, I don't know why that clock's running, but that's okay. Parker Von Richter's next, so Arvin Jaswal can win it with a save. Here comes Von Richter, weaving in slowly. Von Richter shot, stopped by Jaswal. And the Barrie Colts win this one by a final score of 1-0 in the shootout. What a game here tonight in Brampton.
Well, it literally took one shot to win it tonight. It was Brad Gardner in the shootout here, getting the game winner. I don't know who the 3 stars are going to be. I guess it'd just be the goalies and Gardner, maybe.
Yeah, that's got to be the way they do it. And then for Arvin Jaswal, that's his first shutout, is it not?
That's what I was just going to check. First career shutout
First.
for Arvin Jaswal. I figured that out when Brad Gardner went to get the puck and then just checked to confirm. And yes, Arvin Jaswal with his first career OHL shutout. What a performance from him tonight. And even though it went to a shootout, he was still perfect. 33 of 33 between regulation and overtime, and then in the shootout, a perfect 3 for 3.
What a game here tonight. And yeah, this game had a little bit of everything. The shattered glass from Alex Asadorian in the first period. The backup goaltenders putting on a fantastic showing here. Both Johnson and Jaswal. We needed a shootout. And Brad Gardner, the veteran, gets the job done with that one goal.
Yeah, and it's a nice move by Gardner. First shooter of overtime there for the Barrie Colts. Makes a real nice play. And you know, it's at a time where some players need to step up, and it's the veteran Brad Gardner stepping up for the Barrie Colts here tonight to get them a winner. I think this was one the Barrie Colts really needed. I mean, last night was a really tough game, and they had to put that right behind them right away, and they did that. They came out with a pretty strong effort tonight. It was a pretty even back and forth game with the Brampton Steelheads, and it took till overtime, but we did get a goal.
And for the Barrie Colts, more importantly, getting back into the win column is you want to get these wins against your division opponents, and for the Colts, they missing those key players, but you have Sementsov making his OHL debut. He looked to fit in quite well there with Asadorian and Crombie.
Yeah, and a lot of trust out of Dylan Sposkowitz here early, and Alexander Sementsov. He's playing on the first power play unit. He was the second shooter tonight in overtime, and no goals. And I think at some points he did hesitate a bit to maybe take a shot there, but that's going to come as he gets more comfortable in the league. He's going to get some more opportunities, and it's still going to be a while without Cole Baudouin, Emil Hemming, and Keishon Aitchison, so there's still going to be some more opportunities to come for guys like him and Eamon Edgar, and then you look, Sam Black was in the lineup, Luke Govro in the lineup. They're going to get some more opportunities as well.
Now, it doesn't get any easier here for the Barrie Colts. They're back on home ice tomorrow against the London Knights team that, yes, they're not the London Knights of last year or the year before. This is still a team that's got the talent. They're missing a couple of guys at the World Juniors, but tomorrow's contest back at the Saddleland Arena, it's going to be fascinating to see how the Barrie Colts can finish out before the Christmas break.
Yeah, the London Knights, like you mentioned, I mean, they don't have 4 first-round picks this year. They're a bit less light in that point, and we've actually had discussions about could the London Knights be sellers this season, and that's not really because they're a bad team, but they're a solid team in a Western Conference full of contenders. And so, yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Sam O'Reilly, Henry Verstevich out of the lineup, but you still got guys like Ben Wilmot, Jackson Culver, who are pretty decent names for the London Knights as well. They acquired Brady Wasselin a while back, and he's fit in rather nicely, 17 points in 20 games so far. And then, of course, you got the really good goaltending duo there in Medvedev and Gatto.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the game goes tomorrow. Now, we do have our 3 stars, and it's presented by Craighurst Crossing, the Georgian community's new homes, minutes from North Barrie, where inspired living meets small town charm. And you called it. Your the 3rd star tonight, Brad Gardner. He scored in the shootout. That was the only goal all night. Luke Johnson, the goaltender of the Steelheads, 2nd star, 32 saves on 32 shots. And then Arvin Jaswal, the 1st star, 33 saves on 33 shots for his first career OHL shutout. So a big congratulations to Arvin Jaswal. What a performance here tonight. Well done there by the Colts.
Yeah, Jaswal was fantastic tonight, and it's a performance they needed. And Barrie Colts, they've been relying a lot on the netminders throughout this season, but over the next couple of weeks especially, these are going to be big moments for Ben Horebic and Arvin Jaswal. Horebic's on a long run where he's had a .900 save percentage in every game since takes you all the way back to October when the Barrie Colts were last in North Bay taking on the Battalion. That's the last time Ben Horevic had a save percentage below 900 in a game. Arvin Jaswell, he's had a few shaky moments, but Arvin Jaswell is good. Arvin Jaswell is really good. Tonight, you look at it, he gets the shutout. That game against the Erie Otters a couple of weeks ago, he stopped 38 of 40. The game before that was against the Sarnia Sting. He was fantastic in that. He was the reason the Barrie Colts won all 3 of those games. When Arvin Jaswell is good, he is among the best in the OHL.
So that's going to do it for us here at the CAA Centre. And I'm seeing the Christmas messaging going on there from Alexander. So Merry Christmas to all those tuning in, as it's our last broadcast before the Christmas break. We're not going to be back on the road until December 28th when the Barrie Colts travel to North Bay to battle the Battalion. It's the 2 top teams right now in the Central Division. That should be an entertaining one. So that broadcast will get underway at 1:45 p.m. So make sure you click subscribe so you're notified when the broadcast will get underway. And we'll have puck drop at 2 o'clock. And then, of course, tomorrow, the London Knights. They're going to be in Barrie tomorrow, as that's going to be on Rogers TV. And also, if you're at the game, remember to bring a food donation, as they're collecting donations for the Barrie Food Bank.
And less importantly, but wear your ugly Christmas sweater as well.
Oh, there you go.
The food bank comes first, of course. But let's make that
food
clear.
Bank,
Food bank, then your
sweaters.
Christmas sweater. Yeah. And
Got
don't
it.
spill any of the food on your sweater.
So for Gene Pereira, for Josh McCann, I'm Mike Poirier saying so long from Brampton. It's a 1-0 final in the shootout for the Barrie Colts.